Good evening, and welcome to the February 15th, 2024 meeting of the Town of Southampton Zoning Board of Appeals. This meeting is being held live and also via video conferencing in accordance with the Town Board's enactment of Local Law Number 14 of 2022. Our next meeting and those following will also be held in person here at Town Hall and will continue to allow for remote participation. So please keep checking the town's website for updates and any new information. If you wish to view tonight's meeting only view it, but not participate, do not join the Zoom meeting and instead go to the town's website for viewing access. With that, I'd like to ask you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For those of you with us tonight, in case of an emergency evacuation, please exit through the rear doors of this room to one of the staircases across the hall and continue downstairs and out through the main entrance. Do not attempt to use the elevators during an emergency evacuation. In case of a medical emergency, the automated external defibrillator and first aid kit are both located in the hallway on this floor opposite the elevator. Restrooms are located across the hall from this room. We'll begin this meeting with public hearings. We have applicants and members of the public here with us live and also standing by via Zoom webinar, which is being moderated by CTV. CTV will mute the speakers on Zoom until it is their time to give testimony before the board. Please be patient. If you find you're having difficulties accessing the hearing, visit the town clerk's meeting portal and click on the instructions link. Also, for those of you in this boardroom, please silence your cell phones and refrain from speaking to one another as it interferes with the recording of our proceedings. Tonight, board member Helen Burgess is participating via Zoom, and board member Michael Daly is absent. As a reminder that applicants, agents, and members of the public speaking other than attorneys will be sworn in, will state their address for the record, and will offer their testimony as it relates to the application before the board. In order to consider properly every application before us tonight, individuals speaking on a particular application will have a time limit of 3 minutes. Also, before handing in any submissions to the board tonight, please make sure that the documents identify the ZBA application name and tax map number. The applicant name should also be written on your certified receipts. Unless otherwise stated, please silence your Unless otherwise stated at the end of an individual application hearing, all applications will remain open for written comments for all purposes until a date given. Those written comments can be addressed to the members of the board and sent via email, mail, and/or dropped off at Town Hall to the board secretary, Candace Cowell. At this time, I would like a motion to approve the minutes of our February 1st, 2024 meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye. Minutes are approved. Okay, Keith, would you like to take us through the agenda?
Okay, there's some alterations to the agenda. Item 1 on the agenda is going to be re-advertised for our March 21st meeting.
Okay. Does this require a? No. Doesn't require a. Okay.
Okay, item 6 on the agenda, which is 94 Dewey Road Holding Corp. I'll move to adjourn it to our May 2nd meeting. Second that.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Item 7 on the agenda is 625 Butter Lane Homestead LLC. I'll move to adjourn it to our April 18th meeting. Second.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Aye. Chair votes aye.
Item 8 on the agenda, Todd Getz, and Deborah Getz. I'll move to adjourn that to our March 7th meeting. Second.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye.
Item 9, 3310 Noyak LLC. I'll move to adjourn that to our March 22nd meeting.
March 21st meeting. Okay, corrected.
I second that.
Second. Okay, Mr. Todd Hill?
All right.
Mr. Macedonia?
Aye.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Chair votes aye.
All right, and the decision calendar. The following decisions are going to be put off to our March 7th meeting. Eric and Tara Belfi, 370 Fowler Street LLC. SA 123 LLC, 249 Surfside Drive LLC. Both to 37. Town of Southampton Housing Authority, Roberto and Cami. Both to 37. Mark Smith and Heather Cole. Ronette Riley is 37. J10 Properties is 37. And Dil Patel is 37. Aaron Appel is 37. And Alexander Vyman is 37.
Second. Over.
Mr. Todd Hill?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia?
Aye.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Chair votes aye.
Okay, also Matthew Frank will be put off to our March 21st meeting. And I'll move to reopen 2266 Montauk LLC to,
Can we vote on the,
Frank.
do I have a second on Matthew Frank?
Second.
sorry about
Mr.
that.
Todd Hill?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia?
Aye.
I
Mr.
stand
Leonard?
corrected,
Aye.
as I always do.
Ms. Burgess? Chair votes aye. Okay.
All right, you ready now?
Yeah.
Okay. 2266 Montauk LLC, I'll move to reopen to accept written submissions.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Todd Hill?
All right,
Mr. Macedonia?
Aye.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Chair votes aye.
now I'll move to close for a determination later this evening.
Second.
Mr. Todd Hill?
All right,
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Chair votes aye.
all right, I'll move to reopen Henry Taboda to accept written submissions.
Second.
Mr. Todd Hill?
All right,
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Chair votes aye.
and after accepting the written submissions, I'll move to close it for a determination later this evening.
Second.
All in favor?
All
Aye.
right,
Motion carries. Okay,
how'd I do, all right?
good.
Pretty good.
Just have a question, just want to confirm, what date did you say was for 625 Butter Lane?
625 Butter Lane. 418.
Correct. Correct.
Yes.
Pay attention, right?
Didn't realize there was going to be a quiz.
Okay, item 2 on the agenda. Pine Neck Realty LLC, 2 Oak Road, Noyak, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-5-5-67. Applicant requests relief for the following provisions of the town code for a new dwelling. 330-6, general regulations that references 330-11. Residence District's Table of Dimensional Regulations for a principal front yard setback from the southerly property line, Briar Lane, from the required 30 feet to 22.6 feet. A principal front yard setback from the westerly property line, Oak Road, from 30 feet to 27.4 feet. A principal rear yard setback from the required 30 feet to 10.2 feet. And total lot coverage from the permitted 20% to 29.6%. And 2, 330-84D, Pyramid Law for a sky plane encroachment on the north side of 492.64 cubic feet, south side 544.2 cubic feet, east side 2,979.34 cubic feet, and for a cupola 85 cubic feet, for a total of 3551.18 cubic feet, and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction. Pass it to
Hi.
Susan.
Suzanne, I think we're going to have to swear you in.
Yes.
Are you an attorney?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so then I need to swear you in as well.
Sure.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name and address.
Dan O'Connell, 73 Pine Neck Avenue, in
Okay.
South Harlem.
Good, thank you. Suzanne,
Susanna Herman and Consultants, 1319 North Sea Road, Southampton.
do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Suzanne, this is yours.
Okay, so this property is located at 2 Oak Road in the Pine Neck subdivision. I'm sure this board is very familiar with Pine Neck. You've seen a lot of variances over the years from this neighborhood. This property is on the corner of Oak Road and Briar Lane, which is a couple blocks off of Pine Neck Avenue, the main road going through there. It's on a corner, and it's 10,007 square feet in an R10 zoning district. It's also constrained because there is only 5 feet to groundwater, and even though we are not in a flood zone, we're very near to the flood zone. I actually have a copy of the flood zone map, but I don't think I handed up, but this isn't included in my packet, but just so that you can see, obviously the red is the velocity, the orange is your AE zones. We're in the yellow, which is a 2% chance of flooding every year, basically. And that's based on old calculations. The property is very vulnerable to flooding. It has flooded in rainstorms in the past. It's actually at the same elevation as a lot of the properties that are in the flood zone. And I just go through that to point out that although we don't benefit from pyramid elevating the house and going from the flood zone line, they are elevating the house a little bit above grade, not too much, but a little bit, and also there's no basement. The house is on a slab. So for that reason, we're further constrained. The ceiling heights are not excessive. We have a 8-foot, 2-inch ceiling height.
Both floors?
Yes. I handed up to you a pretty large packet, and most of this consists of other variances that I felt were relevant to this application. They're either coverage variances, pyramid variances, or setback variances. And although it may seem like we're asking for quite a few variances here, it is well within the character of the neighborhood based on not just the other variances that have been issued. As you can see, if you want to flip through all these, I've summarized it all in my cover letter, just so you don't have to spend too much time doing that. But there are other similar variances for coverage, many variances for front yard setback. From one corner, we are proposing 27.4. From the other corner street, we're proposing 22.6, where 30 is required. You'll see very few properties that actually conform in this neighborhood to that 30-foot setback from both streets. So again, this is just a handful. I think I included 16 different variances for similar setbacks. I could probably find more, but I didn't want to overwhelm you. And this doesn't include the pre-existing nonconformity. I've included an aerial photograph for that reason. And you can see if you look at the neighborhood, and I'm sure you're all familiar with neighborhood, it's small lots, a lot of pre-existing nonconformity, a lot of houses closer than 30 feet from the property line. More often, they're 10 or 20 feet from the property line.
Your lot's not that small though, comparatively.
When you look at it, it isn't as small as most of them.
It's 10,000.
It's-
I heard you.
Right.
I heard you.
It's an
It
R10.
conforms though, right?
It
It
is a conforming
conforms.
lot.
Yeah. What's the elevation? You said you have to elevate the house above grade. What is that?
We are 8.3. And grade is around 6.
How big is the house gonna be?
The footprint is 2,958 square feet. There's only a partial second story. The second story is 1,851 square feet.
I'm sorry, Suzanne, could you give me those numbers again?
It's on page PD 1.2 of the plans, just, you have it, I'll repeat it as well.
Okay.
First floor, 2,958. Second floor, 1,851 square feet. A lot of that is the garage slash barn portion of the
You're
house.
building a 4,800 square foot house?
4809.
Yeah.
However, it is going to have a very cottage-like look and appearance. And that's the reason that I included in your packet a couple of photographs of properties at 69 and 74 73, excuse me, Pine Neck Avenue. The O'Connell family is the owner of this property. They also own 2 properties on Pine Neck Avenue. And I include these because those properties were both very rundown, lots of non-conforming properties right up to the property line, multiple structures on the property. And what they've done on both of those properties, I think, is a real asset to the community. And I think that's why when Mr. O'Connell went to his neighbors and showed him his plans for the current house and said, we've used the same architectural firm, we're going to have the same wood shingle roof, same builder, excellent landscaping. It's really, although the number seems large at 4,800, it is very cottage-like. If you look at the elevations, you can see it's not, what you're seeing, when people come in, they want to build as big as they possibly can, and they're doing big monolithic 2-story block-like houses. And we've really tried to avoid that.
Well,
Mr.
4,800 square feet is a pretty good sized house
That's a very-
on a small lot.
I agree.
Yeah.
I have a problem.
Yeah,
Besides that, you need, you know, what do you want, 29% lot coverage?
right, we are proposing 29% lot coverage. I have included 2 variances of 29% and 30% variances that have.
Did you put the dates when those were granted?
I attached copies.
Okay, we have to go and do that ourselves.
Well, one of them is 2010.
10.
2010, the other one is 1980.
How about if we covenant,
Wait a second. 2010 and 1980 are the variances that you have put here. Okay,
The 2 that are that high
yeah,
in
yeah.
coverage, they're 29 and 30. There's multiple other ones that are more recent that are 24, 25, 26%.
how about a covenant never to come back for a swimming pool or a tennis court?
I don't think there's any.
There's no room for it.
I realize
And they
that,
don't,
you
they
know, I
don't want,
realize
they
that,
don't
but-
want a
Yeah.
tennis court or a swimming pool. So, a large part of this is a barn that would, attached garage, that would be very barn-like in appearance.
Where is that on this? This part here?
The
Yes.
problem I'm having is I don't have a copy of the plans.
Oh,
They were not included in my packet.
I got a
and
copy
don't-
because I'm the lead on
I
the
know, but-
application, but yeah,
I
nobody
would
else
have liked to
did.
have seen a copy of the plans, and I
I
can't
agree.
really make any determinations unless I do.
Do you want this?
I do think that this is a
Well,
lot
I
of
think he
relief.
needs to look
being-
at it.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
I just, and I'm things from O'Connell would want to speak as well, but we have letters in support from 9 of the neighbors, both in the immediate vicinity of this property and also his adjacent property owners on his Pine Neck properties. And I think that's
On his Pine Neck properties, meaning his other Pine Neck properties or this particular?
Pine Neck Avenue.
Pine
I'm
Neck
sorry.
Avenue.
Both.
And contiguous neighbors. of
You have,
the
the adjoining neighbors have written letters of
Yes.
support.
Right.
Okay, just
Yeah,
want to make sure.
there's-
Yes.
They're in here,
Okay,
in
good.
this submission.
So,
All right.
Dan's been coming to this neighborhood since he was a child. He really loves this neighborhood and has a large family and is in need for more space, which is why he bought this additional property and wants to develop it in a very attractive way that will fit in with the neighborhood.
So this is being developed for your family?
Correct. Not a
Not to be
rental.
rented.
Never. Want
Go-
me to
go
jump
ahead.
in? Okay, so the concept of this is I live in Sands Point, up down in New York. We're going to sell that in about 7 or 8 years and retire out here at Pine Neck. There are, the concept of these plans where we built a wrapper around what our needs were. I collect antique pickup trucks. I have 2 International Harvesters. One's a 1955 R110 that I keep in my barn in Sands Point. I live on a road called Bacchus Farm Lane in Sands Point. I have a 30-foot Chris Craft that I winterize myself in that barn. So we needed a floor plan of a barn to protect these two, because I want to move out here and stay there. In addition to that, I have a part of my house in the basement where we have a bar that we had bought from a barn in Pennsylvania over 30 years ago. And I wanted to move that out up to the top floor of the barn, and I wanted to put a pool table that I wanted an auction that is an antique pool table. It's about 100 years old. So we tried to fit the wrapper around what we were going to move out and retire into, and that's what came up with the barn. The barn is about 3/4 of what I'm building, a space that's going to be of the wrapper for these things. I'm also building an attached 2-bedroom cottage with 1 bathroom. It's a small cottage. The main room will be a kitchen, living room in one place, and then 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. Right now, that's gonna be for my 2 sisters. I'm the youngest of 7, my wife is the youngest is number 6 of 8. My 2 sisters are in need of selling their place to live off of the money from the proceeds. I'm gonna put them up in this cottage. My hope is for at least the next 5 to 10 years. I'm 62, by that time I'll be 72, and I think my wife and I will probably need caretakers. And then that cottage, I hope, and that cottage is for the caretaker
Where is the
of the
cottage?
property. It's attached to the barn. It's
Oh.
attached to the side of the barn.
It's all one building.
So it's
Yeah,
a,
I was gonna
it's
say,
a
it's
build,
not separate.
I think it's a misnomer to call this a cottage.
well, the cottage is attached to the barn.
But which is attached to the house, right? Everything's attached.
Everything's
It's all one
attached, that's correct, it's one structure. The 3/4 of the structure is the barn.
Not
3/4 of
including
the
the
structure
cottage.
is the barn, and then there's a 4-bedroom house?
No, absolutely not,
So
no.
you're
Two bedrooms.
It's a if you hear,
2-bedroom house and 2-bedroom cottage.
it's a no, there's no house. It's just a barn, and then a 2-bedroom cottage attached to the barn. 2 small bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and a kitchen great room are in the cottage, 1 floor, with its own separate entrance. Essentially, I'm building a barn.
I think that's the way they're thinking of it, but for zoning purposes, it's one structure.
It's one structure.
It's one primary structure. A large portion of that is this.
Are you creating an accessory apartment within this,
No, there's
No.
only 2 bedrooms in the whole.
the whole
building.
thing?
The whole
So
thing
you
has,
and
the
your
whole thing has
sisters are all
1
gonna be living there,
kitchen,
one-
2 bedrooms, and the barn will have none of that. The barn will have a bathroom for when I'm in there working on the car.
But wait, when we're talking about this barn, is that the garage?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so hold on.
Excuse me, I'm gonna have radiant floor heating in the barn, because
So
the
hold
batteries
on
will
one-
go dead in those
hold on
trucks in
one
the winter.
moment.
I don't take them out in the winter.
So the garage is going to have a 2-car garage,
3 bays.
3 bays.
One's for my boat
That's the
and 2 are
first
for the
level,
trucks.
and then there's gonna be a second level,
On
correct?
top of that, that's
With the
correct.
recreation
That's correct.
room
That's
and the
correct.
poker room.
No
and
bedrooms,
the-
no kitchen.
It's all one
It-
open
it-
space.
it's-
One open space.
That's
with
correct.
It's like one enormous living area. With
Correct.
all these pool tables and poker and
Those thi- those-
shuffleboard and.
Those are the exact scale of what I already own and what I'm
Right.
going to move out.
So, I mean, unfortunately for me, that's excessive on this lot. That you're asking us to give you some 3,000 square cubic feet of relief, a pyramid relief, for a structure that's basically a 2-bedroom house with a huge recreational living area over a garage.
Correct.
Yeah.
Part of it is to match what I've done on 73 and 69 with the cupola. Much of that,
Understood.
Just
Why
to-
is it that this, explain to me why on the elevation, this couldn't be moved over? What is the reason
That
that
push-
you can't keep it within the pyramid?
Because we're on the corner, and if we push it away from that back property line, which is, if you push it away from the eastern property line, most of the pyramid is on the east side, where we are 10 feet
Uh-huh.
from that property line. If you push it towards the
No, I understand.
west, then you're getting closer to Oak Road. And we're already asking for a 2.5-foot variance from Oak Road.
Technically have 2 front yards.
Yes, we have 2 front yards and a rear yard and a side yard.
if you drive down Oak Road, you'll see the contiguous owner. What direction is
To
that?
the north.
That's to the north. Is about 40% lot coverage. The house is right up to my fence. It's a two-family rental, and it goes straight up from the property line. Across the street are 2 houses that are no more than 10 feet from the road, also going straight up from the property line. We're trying to set it back off the road.
Okay, so the garage would be here?
The other picture will give you a better view of it. Yes,
But
that is the
I'm
garage.
just asking
Yes,
from this
that's the
picture.
garage, sir.
So the
Yes.
garage is here, and
Yes.
this is the recreation
That's
room.
correct.
Correct.
What is the height of the ceiling in the recreation room? Is it a vaulted ceiling? It goes
I'm
right
thinking
to
of
the
that. That's
rafter.
correct, right to the rafter, correct.
Okay.
What is the height? 30, is it under 32?
Oh, yeah, we're under 32.
Right, but it's a vaulted ceiling within that recreation room. So,
Right, so
There's
that
no-
adds to the
the height,
pyramid.
exactly,
And,
exactly.
you know, generally, we don't like to approve pyramid relief in excess of in the 3,000s. So you may be having some difficulty finding the number of votes you need on this proposal.
My hope was to make it look related, like a cousin of what I built. That's why we put the
Yeah, no,
cupola
I
on it.
understand. I think, you know, your design and everything is not a problem. I think it's a small lot. I'm not as concerned with the coverage, but I am concerned with the pyramid relief. So that's where I'm at this point.
Okay.
Well, I think also part of the coverage we have to take into consideration is the fact that it's a
It's a
3-car garage,
It's
a 3-bay
huge.
garage.
Yeah.
And is that appropriate on this size of a lot in that neighborhood, knowing what Pine Neck is like? I think that's the question for this board.
One of them in the packet, recently, 4276 was approved.
Yeah, there is a house that's over 4,000 at 55 Pine Neck. There was pyramid relief granted on that one of $2,201.
Who's living in the cupola?
Nobody's, I don't know, maybe some
Dustin.
birds.
There's bats in the
Some
belfry.
birds. If you look at photograph number 4, that's at 69 Pine Neck. That's actually an accessory structure on that property. There's a little cupola that shows, you know, very similar to this design, figure 4. And I've included in figure 6 is a picture of the adjacent property to the subject property, which shows that it didn't require, or it didn't get a pyramid variance, but it's obviously in non-conformity. It's 10 feet from each property line. And obviously, a big, tall, blocky house, monolithic.
It's a two-family rental, right next. Okay.
Do you have a number for the height of the recreation room to the ceiling?
The ceiling?
To the rafter?
I think it's shown in one of the cross sections here. Try to keep this away from the microphone. 'cause
Yes.
it's terrible sound. They don't have the architect doesn't have a dimension.
Yeah.
And I could,
Is there, so there's a 9-foot just to the cross beam. But then it's even higher.
So what you're suggesting is perhaps another relook at the vaulted ceiling and some
Yeah, I think if you
Shading
remove the
of
vaulted
the-
ceiling,
of the pyramid relief request?
and also I would reconsider a 3-bay garage. I mean, I think the lot coverage is a lot. But what it's being used for, I mean, because we look at this holistically, and what it's being used for is to house another vehicle and to expand a recreation space that is,
It's
you know,
also being
marked.
used to take a boat out of a yard that's being stored out of a yard and putting it in a barn in the winter.
Right, but this may not be the piece of property for that. That's what we're saying. Because we are thinking in terms of the dimension of the lot. You have a 10,000 square foot lot, and you're putting on it a almost 5,000 square foot house.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And even though the footprint may be half of that, it's, what you're asking for is adding to the relief being requested, and we try to be as restrictive with the relief as possible so that we can
If I move it away from
maintain the
that
character of the
If I move it away
neighborhood.
from that perimeter, could I get relief then closer? Because then we would be in compliance with the pyramid law, because the height is in compliance.
You would still have lot coverage issues. I would like to
Are
see.
you talking
I
about
would like-
shifting it away from
You
this
shifted
back?
away a little bit back.
Yeah, we're shifting the building.
I mean, based on
Then
the
we need-
elevation,
Then we need more relief from, Oak Road, if we,
How so, if you're already asking for 27.4 from Oak Road?
well, if you shift the house closer to Oak Road, then you need more relief.
But the setback is still 27.4, right? Like, you're asking for 27.4 up here.
Yeah,
So
So if you move the,
it's still gonna be 20, I mean, I'm not saying move it all the way, but you're still gonna be 27 point, like, how is that part of the house
well,
gonna need a variance when this?
oh, you're talking about shifting only part of the house forward?
No,
Is
I
that
would-
what you
I would
guys are
move the
asking?
whole thing.
Oh, the whole thing, okay.
The whole-
well, hold on, let's, taking a look at that elevation one more time. That was the one that I really honed in on. Sorry. This one. So, when we're looking at this, where is Oak or Briar?
That's facing Briar. Oak would be
Yeah.
closest to you.
So if you're standing on Briar, you're looking at this.
Correct.
We're at
correct.
Briar,
Okay.
you're on Oak.
Your body
Okay.
is on Oak.
So it aligns with the survey. Okay, I see that. So really, I'm not sure. Let's see. So that would mean, yeah, you would have to shift it closer to Oak.
And I think because
To
the height's in
reduce that-
compliance, then it would,
to
the pyramid
possibly
would
reduce
probably
that.
make it.
The pyramid would
That's
obviously
correct.
come down drastically.
That's correct. What's
come
that?
down, it would
Yes.
come down. We'd
That's
have
correct.
to
The
see how
pyramid
much, yeah.
variance would come down.
So is the board suggesting you might be more lenient on the Oak Road setback if we were to move it closer to Oak Road in order to reduce the pyramid?
If you drive down Oak Road, you'll see every house on Oak Road. It's right
We're
up
not
on the
saying
road.
anything.
Okay,
I think that may solve the problem.
we're trying to be problem solvers
No, no,
here.
absolutely. No, I'm joking. I'm
Okay.
joking. So, yeah, that could help. I mean, there's options. There's removing a bay to help with the lot coverage. There's moving the property, moving the construction over to reduce the pyramid relief. I mean, those are things that you could consider.
Those
I'm
are,
okay with it, but you do need 4 votes, so to come to a conclusion here, it may help alleviate some of the other board members.
Are we only 6 board members right now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd
Suzanne,
be
which-
willing to do that.
Which yard is the rear? Like, we advertised it for 10.2, but there's a 10.2 here and a 10.2 up here.
It's the north.
The north side is the shorter. My understanding is when you have two front yards, the one that's opposite the shorter dimension is the rear. So the rear is technically the north, which in my view is more like a side, but
So you don't need a setback for this 10.2 down here?
no, because the
No, that's
side yard,
considered side
the
yard.
side yard setback is 10.
It's 10,
Okay.
yeah.
Right.
And our pre-existing house is,
And the attached two-bedroom cottage doesn't have any pyramid law relief requested.
Right.
So the options to look at is shifting the whole structure or shifting the barn structure.
Correct.
A line up closer to where the
Oak Road.
house is.
Well, I think, I would rather move the whole structure, because if I move the barn up to the front of the cottage, it's gonna look more like those prefab houses that are being built that we're trying to not look like. I don't want a flat
so you don't want a
structure.
flat-
I'd like to have a little
And
profile
pivoting
there.
it doesn't work.
Yeah, so
Pivoting?
maybe, I'll have,
There's lots of things to look at.
we will do that. That's a great suggestion.
rotating to be parallel to Oak Road instead of parallel to Briar Lane.
Or even maybe putting the whole thing on an angle.
Yeah,
Pivoting.
that's
Maybe,
what I mean.
maybe like, yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. That might work. That's a good idea.
I should have gone to architect.
You should have. You should have
All
come
right,
and given me advice a month
It seems to me
ago.
that
We'll hold it
we
open.
need you to come back.
Yeah.
But before we do that, I want to ask, is there anyone in the audience who wishes to comment on the application?
My name is Pamela Harwood. I live at 371 Woodland Drive in Bridgehampton.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Always.
Thank you.
I'm not intending to speak on this, but my husband's family has lived in Pine Neck since 1960, and I just feel compelled to say something. And I know that the neighborhood is a modest neighborhood, many moderate income people. They cherish the nature of that neighborhood and its moderate income status in a world of billionaires out here in the Hamptons. And I know that lots of people in Pine Neck are feeling the beginning of being targeted by developers. Bridgehampton, we've been experiencing that for a long time, but Pine Neck is just beginning, and I urge you to think about that. I live on half an acre, and somebody built a house next door to me that's 4,000 square feet, and I can tell you, it's so dominating in a neighborhood of one-story capes and ranch houses in my own neighborhood. And all of our friends and family see what's happening in Pine Neck. This is the beginning of being targeted, and the neighbors are feeling that. You know that you've had the experience with the marina recently, with the huge boats that are coming into this small neighborhood marina. That's a part of this whole targeting thing, of trying to remake Pine Neck. And so I know that many of the people in Pine Neck are summer residents. Lots have become full-time residents, but they're not here in February. And I just felt compelled, since I'm here anyway, for something else, to point that out, and that many people might not even know about this application. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Pam,
Thank you for your
very-
comments.
They get noticed, though, everybody gets advertised.
Right, but, I'm sensitive to everything that this lady just said. Pamela, thank you. I've lived in Sag Harbor for many years. I know the Pine Neck area very well, and it's a much more modest community. Yeah, as you said, I think modest is a really good word for it. So I'd really like to see some movement on the pyramid relief, but also I'd really like to see some movement on the lot coverage. I think a 3-bay garage is excessive for this property. I really do. For the purpose of having, an extra boat or putting in a
I'm not
shuffleboard
asking
court.
for an extra boat. I have one.
But I understand, but I think it's excessive
I have
for
one
this
boat that I'm
lot.
gonna put in there.
If you could consider that, I would appreciate that.
Okay.
Is there anybody else in the audience who wishes to be heard? Is there anybody on Zoom who wishes to be heard in the application of 2 Oak Road, Pine Neck? Okay.
And Suzanne, you got a copy of the neighbor's letter, right?
Yes.
The house that we're renovating now fills with water in its crawl space. It's the home to only a family raccoon. It's been dilapidated for years. It's an eyesore. You can see the photographs of what we built. We're in keeping with the neighborhood.
Right. Nice designs. Okay, so you're gonna have to come back.
Okay.
give some consideration to the input that you've gotten here tonight.
I will,
And when do you think you'll be prepared to come back?
as soon as we can get on your calendar.
Ken?
When's the next available date?
March 7th,
I'm away March 7th.
March 21.
March 20th.
21.
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
It's probably more realistic.
So I'm going
I'll
to
make
make
that work.
a motion to adjourn this to March 21st.
Second.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Mesner. Mr. Tuthill.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
I
Chair votes aye.
Do you want
Okay,
this
we'll
copy?
see
I
you
appreciate your
on
consideration. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tuthill. Thank you, Mr. Leonard. Thanks, Mr. Leonard.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Oh, my, yeah, if you grab that. Show you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is 2331 Montauk LLC, 2331 Montauk Highway in Bridgehampton, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-86-1-6. Excuse me. Applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the town code to legalize an existing monument sign on a non-conforming lot. 330-205, general provisions. 330-205B1, to allow the sign to remain in its current location where the building, excuse me, has a front yard setback of 30.5 feet, and said building is required to have a 40-foot front yard setback. 330-205B2, to allow the sign to remain at a front yard setback of 16.5 feet where 20 feet is required, and a side yard setback of 5 feet where 20 feet is required. 330-205B5, to allow the sign to have a height of, 7 feet where a maximum of 6 feet is permitted, and to allow the sign to be a total of 45.8 square feet where a maximum of 32 square feet is permitted. And 330-207A, illuminated signs, to allow the sign to be internally illuminated in the Hamlet Office District where internally illuminated signs are only allowed in highway business zoning districts. And 2, for an externally illuminated sign that is not constructed with an opaque background, translucent letters and symbols as permitted by the code, and any other relief necessary.
Court has jurisdiction. Just wait 1 sec so I can pass those down. Pass that to John. Those are all the originals and these are all copies.
John, these are originals.
Thank you.
Just take one and pass it.
Mr. Gilmore.
Good evening.
Would you please introduce yourself?
For the applicant, David Gilmore
for the
Jr.,
instruction.
Greenberg Troy, 2317 Montauk Highway, Bridgehampton, New York, which is immediately west of the subject property. And as our legal advertisement indicates, we are looking for some relief for a freestanding sign. This afternoon, I took some pictures, which I've provided to you in a booklet, and I think that really tells the story of this application. First picture is of our office, and a sign which got the same front yard relief as the applicant is requesting tonight. And if you look in this area, which I have some more photos of, that's approximately the area the sign's gonna go, and you can see it on the survey here. This is a closer shot of the area. One of the things to notice is the Bridgehampton Fire Department owns the property next door, so that 5 feet is off of an open field. The reason we have it in that particular location at 5 feet is as you look at the next series of photos which show the area, you'll see that there's a retaining wall. And that retaining wall, I don't know, is about 3 feet in height. It actually comes up as you get closer to the fire department property. So it'll allow for people who are passing by to observe the sign. So as we got further east, the less height we needed in the sign. So that's why it's there, and I don't believe there's a detriment to the fire department at the open field. And then there's a series of pictures of signs in the neighborhood, so you get a feel for the character of the neighborhood. That's immediately to our west. Saunders is 2 lots to our west. And then on the corner, there is Hobbs. I think the next one, that's the chapel on the corner. This is my second favorite one, the Welcome to Historic. Hampton,
Exactly.
Which is in the right of way. It's on the other side of
They
the
got a variance
sidewalk.
for that, right?
Exactly.
It's a beautiful sign, but you're starting to get the character of the neighborhood. Here's the Hampton Inn, which is a fairly large sign. And then my all-time favorite, which looks to be about 3 or 4 feet off the sidewalk, is the Build Labs sign. And then as we look down, we've got the Newman Village, which is actually set back fairly far. And then the churches. And then the Bridgehampton Museum, and then we come to the Bridgehampton Community Center, which actually has advertising in theirs, which is right on the corner. Must have needed relief, and then finally is an advertisement for a lunch place that operates out of the community center. So clearly the character of this neighborhood is large signs close to front property lines. The other compelling thing about this case is that this board on the Greenberg-Trorig sign, which used to be a Farrell Building sign, gave the same relief except for the 5-foot setback, and then made some interesting comments. First of all, the planning board, when looking at that sign, said the planning board finds the proposed sign to be tasteful, innovative, and appropriate for the area.
How far setback is that sign?
16.5, it's the exact same setback, they just mirrored it. And they're mirror buildings. Section 9 of this decision, which was in November of 2010, the board states the finding of this board that the requested relief is not substantial, and the granting of the requested relief will not cause an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood, nor will it create a detriment to nearby properties. So, in essence, the applicant is saying, I'd like to have an identification sign that can be seen from the street, that's not down low. This is the best place to
It
be able to
says an
do.
existing monument sign. Is
Oh,
it?
I'm sorry, yeah, well,
That's-
you've seen the pictures, right?
Yeah,
So
it's not
true.
there.
And then you received a memo, I think, from the building department that said it wasn't.
Yeah, that's why I just handed that to
I thought the board had it already.
Can you
I
talk?
think they do, I don't,
It's in your submittals.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's in your submittals.
Okay.
Oh, it's in submittal, so we didn't get to see it before the meeting. Okay.
Could you talk a little about the illumination?
Yes, that's.
So-
That's because honestly, the sign placement is
Right. So
it's
here's
not
a-
an issue for me. The illumination, I just want to make clear. So, in the code, 33207 requires the illumination to be an external source pointing down that doesn't cause glare to pedestrians and things like that. It sounds to me like this LED source is going to backlight just the letters.
Yeah, I think the best way that I can do that is show you a picture of our sign that was taken at dusk, which shows how it's backlit. I just didn't have a chance to print it off.
Okay, just behind each of the letters. Okay.
behind
The
letters.
illumination is only on the lettering.
Yes, you look, it's right behind it.
And is it on all night?
Suspect so. I haven't been there all night, thankfully. But yes, I would suspect
I'm
it's
sure it's on
from
a timer.
dusk to dawn
No,
type of
it's
thing.
probably not.
They're supposed to be extinguished by 11 p.m.
Right.
Then it gets extinguished at 11.
Okay.
If it doesn't, we'll fix that. You did address that, and the planning board did address it, calling it tasteful, innovative, and appropriate for the area
Okay.
in the previous decision.
Right.
This is in the new historic district, is that front paving?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so does that mean that this also should be going to through their review?
Well, that was the message I left for the applicant, but I didn't know that David had taken it over. Though,
okay.
you know, as, I don't know if Katie mentioned that to you, but this is in the new historic, I'm gonna say it wrong, but the overlay district.
Right.
The last application that we had there, we said to the applicant, you know, we'd like to refer this to the Landmarks Board because you need their approval before you can get a building permit. They were like, please refer it. We referred it, they got on the agenda. I don't know if anybody from this application has already reached out to the Landmarks Board, but that's, you know, this is new for us, these referrals, so we're trying to,
I don't
You
have
know.
any objection to you referring it.
Okay.
I don't know if they've done anything yet. I'll be in contact.
Okay.
I was
So we'll
returned this
refer it to
afternoon
them.
for this.
okay, yep. And just follow up, Dave, because you know they only meet once a month.
Right, okay. We'll do
So you
that.
just want to make sure they're on, you know,
Yeah.
you get on the agenda.
Have you seen, Ms. Riley's comments?
I haven't.
Okay. Existing wall sign requires a sign permit and a tenancy application for the tenants in the building. Addressing the applications with the building department, I'm sure you'll take care of that. But
Yes.
plans failed to indicate compliance with the 130-mile-an-hour
David.
wind zone. Is that something
So
you
you've
could?
got two signs on the walls
Right,
of the building.
right.
Right.
So what she's saying is you need sign permits.
Yep,
Right.
we'll get, I didn't realize that, but we'll get the sign permits.
And
And
then-
what
I'm
is
sure
the
we'll have to do
tenancy
this.
application?
Tenancy is that the owner is an LLC, but the tenant is a building
Yeah.
company.
Okay.
So,
Okay, and that you have to indicate it can comply with 130-mile-an-hour winds.
Right, we have plans, I mean, there are some serious plans done by an engineer,
I
I'm sure
see.
they got
Yeah,
it
they were
right.
hard to, for me to parse through. To be
You and me
honest.
both.
Yeah, well, but
But
I
we'll
was
make
having
sure
trouble
that
with that.
that's a part of the application.
Okay, so, again, I think, Katie, we have to hold off on this application until we hear from the landmark group.
I mean, you know, I think it's advisable. I just was looking to see, it looks like they meet on February 20th, which is that next week?
Yes.
That always seems to be the way.
Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah, and town hall is closed on Monday. Anthony has something
I
to say?
think, I think I have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure the site plan approval also, well, it gets referred, it's commercial, it gets referred to planning anyway, so.
This, not if it has a CO.
but
Does the
it-
building have a
it-
CO?
But we might have put in the condition of.
Oh, like a site
that
plan?
they have to
Okay.
come- Let me verify that, Dave.
Okay, so you've got a couple of stops along the way.
Maybe, I wanna
Maybe,
verify, yeah.
possibly, yeah,
At least one.
at least one.
At least
And,
landmark.
and also, in terms of what John referred to, if we were to approve this with the internal lighting of just the letters,
Mhm.
turns off at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, that should be a condition of it.
that's fine.
Absolutely, we're
Absolutely.
following the
It's
law.
a code.
Right.
That's if we approve it. So, okay, any other questions from the board? Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard? Come up, come up. Are you an attorney?
No,
Okay.
thank God. No, excuse me. I was
I
married.
take that personally.
Okay, I'm so sorry. No,
Okay. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
yes, I do.
Please state your name and address.
Mary Susan Wilberding, and I live at 31 Bullhead Lane in Bridgehampton.
Mary, you said, I'm sorry,
Mary Susan
Mary Susan, can you spell your last name for me?
Wilberding, W-I-L,
Uh-huh.
B as in boy, E-R, D as in David, I-N-G.
This is David I.N.G. Okay, great, thank you.
I'm a member of the Bridgehampton Civic Association,
Uh-huh.
and I oppose these variances because this building is in our newly created Main Street Historic District. The problem is self-created because Farrell can easily install signage that is code compliant. Shouldn't be a problem. The benefit to the applicant does not outweigh the detriment that oversized and wrongly illuminated signage has to the neighborhood. And, you know, I just want to end with, I'm new to Bridgehampton. I moved here recently. And one of the reasons I did was because of the community, the charm of the village, and certainly the nature and beauty of Long Island. And so my family came to visit me, And as we drove down Montauk, which is Main Street in front of Bridgehampton, they asked me if Mr. Farrell owned Bridgehampton. And I said, no, not yet, because there were so many Farrell signs. There's a fence that has Farrell all over it. It's half of a football field. And I said, no, he's just a developer. But I would like to be able to say that I come from a family. My father's a builder and a developer from Michigan. And I saw what happened, and we had development in Aspen, Colorado, which was also a charming town. And I saw what happened there to overdevelopment. So I just hope that the board always keeps its heart and soul in the place of the community and the beautiful place that we live. And I appreciate all your help.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Is there anybody else in the audience who wishes to be heard? Come on up, Pamela. I'm going to have to swear you in on this application.
Sure, that's fine.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name and address.
Pamela Harwood, 371 Woodland Drive, Bridgehampton. I think I was here 2 weeks ago with a Farrell application, and I said, here I am
object.
again.
It's not
Yeah,
about
let's
that
not-
property.
I don't think we should
right?
really,
This is a different property,
Well,
and it's
and
a
also
sign of this.
I think that, just refer to the
Want to
application.
deal with this application?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. First of all, I have to say that the agenda, as it was described, I guess you know by now, was misleading. So the agenda that went out to everybody described it as to legalize an existing monument sign.
Right.
And then I went to the site today just to see what it looked like, to make sure I had it remembered correctly, and I ran into your former colleague, Brian DeSessa, who's working for Farrell now, and we had a discussion about it. And so, when things are put out that are misleading, a lot of people will either not come to speak or will speak about something that turns out not to be what the issue is. So I hope we can avoid that in the future. I know mistakes are made, but it seems like very different. So anyway, let me speak to this application. First of all, I heard, I'm sorry, I don't know your name, the attorney, say that there's a lot of similar signage, and there's a lot of big signage in Bridgehampton right now, and I would say that that's absolutely true. And there's a lot of ugly, big signage in Bridgehampton right now. And as a civic association, one of our top complaints from all our members, and not only just our members, from residents, is all the ugly and illegal signage that's permeating our hamlet. And a lot of it illegal. During the summer, we have all the signage that takes place in the easements. I say that right now because as we speak, there's an illegal sign in front of the Farrell building in the easement saying, we need people, it's asking for employees, jobs for hire. So there's an illegal signage there right now, and I pointed that out to Brian. But I just want to say, I see this as being self-created. Right now, Farrell has on this building 2 large signs. One at the top saying Farrell, I guess you have a picture of it. There's another one that's from another facing point. So if you were walking east, you'd also see a huge. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, on the west side, but it's facing as you walk east. And so Farrell already has 2 big signs on the building. There's no doubt that this is a Farrell building, so any passerby would see that. So I see the request to have.
We're at 2.5 minutes.
Excuse me?
We're at 2.5 minutes.
Yes, thank you. An additional monument sign where there is none right now, I don't think it's needed. So I just want to say, I know you have certain guidelines that you have to go through. An oversized, illegally placed sign is one of the most numerous things we get complaints about. Farrell can achieve his goal of letting passerbys know that he has a business there with the sign he already has. The variances are substantial ones because of the setbacks and the different heights. I think he wants a 7-foot sign instead of a 6-foot sign. The illuminated signage has an adverse impact on the environment, and this signage is a self-created problem because he started out with a vacant lot. He could have put it in, he could have requested it when it was built, and we don't feel that the sign is necessary. We don't feel a business needs 3 huge signs to let people know that they're there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. What kind of walk-in traffic do you get at the Farrell Building?
I have no idea. But let me just respond to that in a couple of ways. First, there is no conforming area in the front of the building to allow the freestanding sign. The planning board shifted this building forward to create more parking, more than is absolutely necessary. I'm in the parking lot every single day, and if it's a third full, it's a third full. But the planning board had us shifted the building forward, exactly like what happened next door. So you need a 40-foot setback from the main building to be able to have this, and that's one of the requests for relief, to have this freestanding sign. The second thing, and to say that the setback is large is, a distortion where it's 16 and a half feet and the setback is 20. It's 3.5 feet.
3.5, yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for here. And I understand about the wall identification sign, and you're entitled to one, and you're entitled to one freestanding sign. So one of those is coming down and make that a condition of the decision. That's fine, and that's what we're entitled to.
Can there be any movement with regard to the height of the sign?
Well, that's why we shifted it over, so that it can be seen. If you look at the photographs, you see you have that fence, and we'd like the sign to be seen. So, as you come east, well, I think west is probably a little bit easier, but as you head east, we'd like to get some height on it so that it could be seen. So that's why the extra foot. If we shift it further to the west, then it goes down into a little bit of a,
Right.
So we thought long and hard about a way to do this, and, truly tried to avoid coming here. But, this is why you guys are here. The other thing is, for what it's worth, in the application for the former Farrell sign, which is now the Greenberg-Trorg sign, and I'll give that to you, it's a tasteful sign. This is what everybody approved. You said that the board also finds that the alleged difficulty should not be considered self-created. So how that comes in is, if we're shifting the building to accommodate a larger parking, then that's not self-created when the building got shifted forward.
Right, that was a mandate.
Yeah, which was exactly what, these buildings are mirror images of each other, so I would say that it's not self-created.
Pamela wanted to say one more thing. Come back up.
Excuse me, I just want to say something about that. When the building was built, the Hamlet office zone allows 3,000 square foot buildings. You can get a special exemption to increase that to a maximum of 6,000 square feet. And that is exactly what Farrell did at the time. So they went over 5,000 square feet, and that's probably why the additional parking was required, probably why the planning board said shift the building closer. So that was also a self-created problem. So when we're talking about it now, it still goes back to being a self-created problem, as far as I'm
In other words, by
concerned.
their wanting a larger building.
They wanted a larger
created
building.
more need for parking area.
Exactly.
I
So
can
all
understand
this
her
is
argument
created
on
by
that.
Farrell. Farrell could have built a 3,000 square foot building.
Right.
They would have been able to have a further setback. They would have been able to have less parking. It's all self-created.
Right,
That's-
but understanding that under the 5-part test, self-creation of the problem is not dispositive.
Right.
It's not your get-out-of-jail-free card. So it's a factor.
Yes, it's a
not
factor.
the only factor.
So you've got five
Right.
factors that you have to consider.
Right.
So this is just one of them, but I just wanted
Yeah.
to mention something based on what
Yes, no, I
this
appreciate
gentleman
that.
was saying. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anybody on Zoom who wishes to be heard on this application? All right, I think you're gonna be coming back. Whose is this? This is John.
This is mine. So,
Wait, I'm sorry, there
Hold
are
on.
people on Zoom.
Oh,
Okay.
there are people
Oh,
on
good.
Zoom.
All right, so let's hear from them. Let's start with one. No.
It's 3 feet.
Parking course.
You know what you're getting into is head by midday.
This is what happens when you dance with the devil.
Hi, are you an attorney? No, you're muted.
You're muted.
You're still muted.
Cannot hear you.
Okay, no, wait.
Next.
Can you say something if we can hear you? Okay.
Okay, we should move on.
All right, we're gonna have to move on to the next person. If you can figure it out, come back. Kevin, let's move to the next person, please.
It's Helen.
Sir, we can't hear you.
What's happening here? Is it on our side or is it on theirs? All right. Okay, good. Are you an attorney? Wait, before you start, are you an attorney? Hello?
I'm afraid I can't hear you very well. Can you pick up this?
Are you an attorney?
No, I'm not.
Then I need to swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name and address.
My name is Kevin Hurley, 57 Ocean Road, Bridgehampton.
Mr. Burley, go ahead.
I am standing in my kitchen about 400 yards from the subject property. I'm going to speak first to say thank you for the members of the board for spending their volunteer time in doing this. We appreciate that. I'm also a member of the Bridgehampton Civic Association and a strong supporter of the new Bridgehampton Historical District. I'm going to say I'm not going to deal with the specifics of signage. I'm just going to say that this is the example, a simple example of what is going on in the development unnecessarily in the main street of Bridgehampton, which is contrary to what our people in Bridgehampton and the people in Southampton town, when they voted on having a historical district, it's contrary to that. We want to have our main street be a village. We don't want our main street to be, you know, like with all the other places we all know about on other parts of Long Island. You know, I'm not going to mention any names. We have in our midst someone who is trying to use the zoning rules and laws as the minimum in which one can increase their profit by going beyond that, by getting all of those zoning rules abrogated so that more money can be made. And my question is, if we have zoning rules, why do we have zoning rules if they're only meant to be attempted to be expanded upon by profit-making
Sir, sir, if I may.
I understand.
Sir, can you hear me?
I'm going to step off now. Thank you. I appreciate your.
Okay, thank you for your comments.
You got what you have to say.
I think there were
I thought he said
three.
There were three.
Yeah, so that was two.
We're having major technical difficulties.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
And if I can adjust this, you can see more than my forehead.
Okay, that would be helpful. Are you an attorney?
I'm not a member of the bar in the state of New York or any other state, and I'm not here as an attorney.
Okay. Would you please raise your hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, so no.
Okay, so could you state your name and address, please?
My name is Jim Olson. I'm a voting resident of Bridgehampton for nearly 40 years at 122 Lumber Lane. I'm also a member of the Bridgehampton Civic Association. The key concept, as I understand it, is that zoning, existing zoning, must create an adverse impact for the applicant. And there has to be a compelling interest, a weighing of detriment to the community versus benefit to the applicant. There's also needs to be usually an inability of the applicant to achieve their objectives, their reasonable objectives, under the present zoning. I don't see any of these things taking place in this situation. I haven't heard anything said that indicates that Mr. Farrell's objectives here require changes of zoning, that they make it impossible for him to comply with existing zoning and still substantially meet his objectives, or that he is otherwise, that the zoning otherwise makes it impossible for him to act or to plan and run his business as build as he wishes. The fact that there is other zoning that is unattractive and overlarge in Bridgehampton is irrelevant here. That zoning is the historical district, and in all likelihood, most of it is probably pre-existing zoning rules. In sum, I would simply say that I don't think any of the things requested here have shown adequate adverse impact of existing zoning. And in order for the board to act, I believe that that's the standard, that the board should be responsive only where existing zoning flatly doesn't work and where there is a clear detriment to the applicant by existing zoning, plus warrant of the variance. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Is there anybody else? Did the young woman who wanted to speak earlier, did she fix her problem?
Yeah, one more person.
Okay, thank you. Oh, okay.
Hi, thank you. Sorry about my glitch there. I am not an attorney.
Okay, let me swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your
My
name and
name is
address.
My name is Janet Donahoe Ollinger. I live at 32 Grouse Lane in Bridgehampton, and I am a member of the Civic Association. I just want to comment that.
Excuse me, 1 second. Could you spell your last name, please?
Oh, sure. It's two names. It's Donahoe, Donohoe, Ollinger, Ollinger.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. I think that the applicant can make the adjustments to not require a variance. And I feel like when we constantly are giving variances to people, it becomes the norm instead of a variance where there is a hardship or something like that. So I would like the panel to really consider this and start saying no to things that are outside of the norm. And I do appreciate your time. I agree with what the other comments that were made. And thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you very much, Janet. I don't think that we always say yes to everything.
We say no to a lot.
We say no to a lot of things.
No, but what I would like to ask is, what about providing 3.5 feet of setback relief is a detriment to Bridgehampton?
Because it keeps on encroaching.
No, other
Everything
than
keeps
that,
on encroaching.
is there anything about the actual 3.5 feet that is a detriment to people on a regular basis, other than this idea of variance creep?
Yes, there is. When I walk down the street in Bridgehampton, I would rather have a vista of plantings and grass and not having signs in my face. So yes, it is a detriment.
Okay, thank you.
We're gonna have a
It's a detriment to
sign.
my daily existence.
Okay, so it's a preference.
No, it's not a preference, it's a detriment.
Okay.
It makes things worse. And so what we would like to do is make things better. And so a detriment is making something worse, and that's what it does. It encroaches on having vistas, as do many things that the applicant does.
Okay,
Okay,
we're-
thank you.
We're talking about this particular application. Is there anybody else on Zoom?
I have a question for Mr.
One more.
Martin.
All right, but we have one more Zoom person.
Well, I'd like to follow up with Mr. Gilmartin on something Ms.
Okay, go ahead.
Donahoe-Ollinger said.
Okay,
So,
go
could you tell us why it is that you need the 3.5 feet of relief and why you can't just put it back 3.5 feet? Is that because of the fencing?
Well, it's because for the opportunity for it to be viewed.
To be viewed. Is
Right,
it
and
that
there are
the
some
land
safety
slopes
issues.
down?
The land slopes down, that's why the height, but we'd like it forward so that people can see it. The further back you get, it gets
It disappears.
into the building, right? And let's remember that this is a commercial strip of property that they all have signs. And we are entitled to a ground identification sign on the property. That's legal. I'm not asking for a use variance to do
You're
this. I
asking
need
for a setback variance.
some setback relief to do this. So, you know, this idea that it's causing a detriment, I think is really just a fallacy. I think there's probably some blowback against the company that rents the building that's going on here. And this board, as you well know, I don't have to tell you that you have to consider this application and what we're asking for, not what's going on down the street or anywhere else. in town.
Absolutely, and I think also, I would like to make the point to everybody listening that if you've paid any attention tonight to anything that we've done, we have attempted to preserve the character of communities on a regular basis. And we can't just simply say no because we don't like the way something looks. It's just not within our purview to do that.
What we do is we try to balance, obviously. And
Absolutely.
we're gonna look at, I'm actually a little curious as to what the 3.5 feet, why that 3.5 feet has to be. You said safety issues, I mean.
Well, you need, when you have an identification sign, it's what alerts people in
I
cars where the
understand.
business.
Yeah.
So at base and
Yeah,
why you have a
That's
sign.
why I asked about walk-in. I understand if you've got a walk-in clientele. This isn't generally a walk-in clientele.
No, I mean, I think you would have to make an appointment to get in the building, but
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
it's in a place where it's visible to people driving or walking by.
Okay.
Right,
That's-
because they have an appointment at the Farrell Building and they want to be able to see where they're going. That makes sense. And I think,
Okay,
I
we've got one
understand
more
what you just
person
said.
on the Zoom. Okay. Hi, can you hear us?
Yes,
Okay, are you an attorney?
I am not.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name and address.
My name is Gordy Nye, N-Y-E. I live at 237 Maple Lane in Bridgehampton.
No,
Nye,
NYE.
Go ahead, Mr. Nye.
Thank you. I just wanted to reinforce what both Jim and Janet have said with respect to this request. And that is that it's almost, when I read the setup for this particular issue, it seems to me that no attention was paid at all to the existing rules. It's almost like we did what we wanted, let's now investigate whether we comply or not. And if we don't, so what? We just get a variance. It's literally that simple. A sign
3.5 feet or 5, whatever. There's nothing here that is material to the success, to the promotion of the feral business. Should each item be conforming to our existing regulations? It's just like the architect or somebody just drew up something without any adherence or mindfulness at all about what the village is wanting with respect to the balance of commercial messaging versus our overarching wish to remain quaint and lovely.
Okay, thank you very much for your comments.
But again, the sign doesn't exist yet.
Right, I
That
know.
was a mistake that was made during the process.
Okay,
So it doesn't exist.
So, Mr. Nye, the sign does not exist as of now. Okay, anybody else wishes to be heard on this application?
Just one more quick thing.
Yes, go ahead.
I have the benefit of one of my compatriots who actually was the lawyer who I think got the approval for the building. And he said, and it reminded me that there's an affordable apartment in this building, and that's why the extra size, and I believe why it was probably pushed forward, so.
I know, and the variance that we granted, the ZBA granted, where you were required to provide 3 apartments, we granted a variance for 1.
Right.
So I wouldn't be overly bragging about that.
Well, I'm not bragging, I'm just
I know,
pointing
you're
out
pointing
the-
it out, yes.
You know,
I
the
understand.
square footage that's bandied about,
Okay.
is not entirely for it.
Okay. I think you're coming back.
Okay.
So let's figure out who's the lead on this. John,
I'm
you're
the lead on it, and so
You've got a couple of places to go.
Katie, what do you think we should do in terms of reference to landmarks?
Well, I think Mr. Gilmartin said refer it, so we'll try
Yeah.
to refer that, Candace and I can maybe try to scan it and get it to them tomorrow. Their meeting is 2:20. I feel like it's unlikely you can get on there, but certainly, David, you can call them. If not that meeting, I think the Landmarks Board meets again, I looked it up, maybe March 19th. So maybe,
Maybe the 21st?
I think that's the safest. Anthony's also got to confirm
Right.
whether or not it needs
Yeah.
to go to the planning board, and we have to refer it, I think we have to refer it to the Suffolk County Planning Commission as well.
Okay.
All right, so
I think
not
so.
before the 21st of
On the
March.
road.
March 21st?
Yeah.
March 21st. And if we need to adjourn it, adjourn it. So I move to keep this application open and adjourn to March 21st.
Second.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Mastonio.
Aye.
Mr. Tuttle.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Have a
David.
good night.
Thank you.
Two. Okay.
Item 4 on the agenda, 142 Shore Road LLC, 142 Shore Road, North Sea, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-76-3-49. Applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the Town Code for a proposed covered porch. 1, 330-115C continuance for a principal front yard setback of 27.1 feet from the northerly property line Shore Road, where 27.9 feet is pre-existing. And 330-11 Residence District's Table of Dimensional Regulations for a total lot coverage of 21.28%, where a maximum of 20% is permitted on a non-conforming lot and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction, can you pass it to Bob, please?
Are you an attorney?
I have not.
Okay.
Oh, no, these are.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name and address.
Mickey Klein, 138 Powell Avenue, Southampton, New York.
Mr. Klein, please tell us about your application.
So we are adding on to an existing home located at 142 Shore Road. The parcel size is 10,241 square feet, and we're seeking a approval for a 1.28% increase in lot coverage and a 9-inch approval for the front yard setback for the creation of a brand-new front porch.
So the current setback is at 27.1?
27.9, and we're asking for 27.1,
okay.
which is about 9 inches.
Right.
Less.
Okay, and then the lot coverage is increased by 1.28%.
Correct.
Doesn't seem so unreasonable.
Same thing about covered
I hope
No
not.
sign though, right?
No. It's not illuminated, so,
Any pyramid relief?
no pyramid relief.
Okay.
Covered porches.
Common, and you've got two, you have
Yes.
two front yards.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Right.
It's on the corner of Rose and Shore Road.
Bob, do you want to ask any questions?
I have
on
no
this?
question. I'm actually okay with everything. It seems minor relief.
Yeah, let's go to the audience.
Anybody else on the board wishes to
Just move
comment?
along.
Okay, is there anyone in the audience who wishes to comment on 142 Shore Road application? Are you an attorney?
No, I am not.
Okay. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name and address.
Kyle Ramirez, and my address is 92 Rose Avenue.
Okay, Mr. Ramirez, please give us.
Good evening. As I mentioned, my name is Kyle Ramirez. I'm at a direct neighboring property at 92 Rose Ave, and that is sharing the south property line with 142 Shore. While the proposed variance of 131.4 square feet does not seem like a large amount, upon reviewing the proposed plans, about 50% of this square footage comes in the form of a second-story deck that will be looking down directly into two of my bedrooms, my backyard, and 100% full view directly into my outdoor shower, which I enjoy using on a daily basis from June till October. This is obviously troubling to me from a privacy standpoint. I would like to know if there is a landscaping plan in place to include mature arborvitae at least 15 feet tall or similar trees on the property of 142 Shore to provide adequate privacy if the proposed is approved, specifically the second floor deck. Secondly, Rose Ave is a private road that is not maintained by the town. It is one of the few paved roads between Shore and Center. The proposed plans show the driveway of 142 Shore being moved to Rose Ave. If approved, who will be responsible for the repair cost and improvement of Rose Ave following the excessive wear and tear caused by the construction and associated work vehicles and building supplies delivery, etc.? That's all I have to say. I appreciate your consideration of my concerns.
Mr. Tuttle, you look like you wanted to say something. Did you?
Well, he's not here for relief for a deck.
No, I know. See, the problem is that, you know, if you were asking for pyramid relief and the deck were involved, we would really be in the position to do something and to make suggestions. As a neighborly thing, he may want to consider doing the landscaping that you have asked for and,
Okay, you can talk about it amongst yourselves. You should probably take each other's numbers, and then you can arrange that separately.
There's no variance
from us.
requested for a deck.
so in other words, we don't have jurisdiction to ask him to provide the 15-foot arborvitae on the property line because he's not asking for a variance for the deck. He's asking for a setback only on Shore Road.
side.
But the additional square footage that's being asked for.
There's no relief asked for that.
Yeah,
Is
see,
the deck over the covered porch?
No, the
No,
deck
it's in
is
the
on
back.
the other side of the
But
property.
that's what, he's here for the covered porch.
that's all we can deal with is really the covered porch. However, having made your comments, and I think that Mr. Klein is probably a very reasonable man, I'm sure he'd be willing to discuss these things with you privately and see if you can't come up with something that would be accommodating.
With pleasure.
And the same with the road. We have no jurisdiction over
Over the proposed
who uses the
driveway.
road or where the driveway gets cut.
I do
what
have a
happens
question,
with
though.
construction?
Where is the current driveway?
Currently, it's on Shore Road.
It's on Shore, and you're gonna move it to
Yeah.
Rose
We're
Avenue?
moving it to Rose,
What?
the entrance to the garage is right there.
But so the driveway, it's gonna be a new driveway
Yeah, I
Yes.
on Rose, and
Yes.
Rose is private? You might have to go to road review for
Yeah,
that.
you might have to do road
I think
review.
Oh, you already
we
did?
Submitted to them.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
So
and
if-
have
if
they
he-
commented, road review? Have you had a
Everything's
meeting?
fun- I haven't got anything said no.
Okay.
Okay, so if he made, if he's already made, if he says that he's made an application to the road review committee, the road review committee will take a look at Rose Avenue, and they'll make, you know, they will consider whether or not he has to make improvements to it, because he's moving the driveway. If the driveway still stayed where it is, there'd be no improvements necessary, but they will look at it.
Okay, but just to my understanding, because it's a little confusing, in this particular thing, it says the lot coverage, so expanding the lot coverage by a percentage. So therefore, the deck on the second story addition would be, that's not included in the expansion? So what is the expansion then? That's,
The addition of the front porch, the covered front porch.
Right.
all right.
So the.
Right, the relief is with regard to just the covered porch which abuts Shore Road. Adding on that covered porch increases the lot coverage by 1.8%.
That's it.
And so that's what we're concerned with. Your porch that you're concerned with is on the other side of the building. We don't have any jurisdiction over the other side of the building because he's not asking for any relief with regard to that side of the building. So the two of you should go outside, exchange phone numbers, and work it out amongst yourselves because we can't do anything about it here.
All right.
Okay.
But as I said, I think Mr. Klein is willing to, be accommodating. So if that's the case, that would be very good. Okay.
5 minutes on that.
Well, you got
All
one more.
right, wait.
Hold on.
All right, is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to be heard on this application? Please step forward. Are you an attorney?
No.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name and address.
My name is Jeremy Slovic. My address is 78 Rose Avenue.
Jeremy, display your last name.
How you doing?
Good.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I didn't know it
Jeremy,
was
just
you.
say last name.
S-L-O-V-I-K.
S-O-L.
I'm sorry, S-L-O-V-I-K.
L-O-V-I.
Yeah.
All right, Jeremy, please give us your comments.
So basically, you kind of answered it, but I waited here this whole time, so I kind of wanted to at least say hi
Okay,
and thank
okay.
you for your
Hi.
service and everything. But I'm 2 houses away from where this property is, and it is I just moved there last year with my wife and kids, and it's very quiet. And my concern was the road, because my kids are learning to ride a bike. One's 6, one's 3. They're learning to ride bikes, get outside. We have a paved area, but as these commercial trucks drive through, they destroy it. I'm responsible for it. So for him to move a driveway to our street that's private, I was concerned about.
I'm sure it's going to be addressed by road review.
So how do I get involved? Like, just to get an idea of what is going on. I mean, I actually know him. I didn't realize it was him. And he is a good guy.
Shop at the liquor store.
Yeah.
My favorite
Oh,
liquor store.
please, all right, let's not
Yeah, well, that's
give away
kinda
too
why I
many
was-
secrets here at the meeting.
But so I know he's a respectable, good guy. But I kind of want to be involved where I don't want like a huge truck to come over, lay a pothole in front of my house, and now I got to come out and fix it.
And your house is further down, Rose.
My house. I'm 2 houses from him.
But further down, Rose.
I'm on Rose.
Because he looks
right.
like he's right on the corner of Rose
Right.
and Shore, so you'd be further down on
Right,
Rose.
but his driveway is going to be
Yes,
on.
no, I understand.
Right, on Rose.
And,
So how do we get involved? Because that was also Kyle's.
Call the engineering department tomorrow. Engineering department, Tom Houghton is, the
Tom
chair of
Houghton, yes.
the road review committee.
He's-
I can get that from you? Tom
yes, you
Houghton?
can get it from
Sure.
Candace, yeah, and he's very helpful.
Okay, and so he's already decided? Is that kind of what we're?
No.
Okay.
Well, maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. Well,
right.
we just don't know,
All right,
but
so
call him.
just in the future then, like, did he put up a sign saying that he was gonna apply? I mean, it seems weird to go on our private road to
Can
change a
I
driveway.
comment on
Yeah.
this, please? They're asking for variances, that's the nature of this thing. As it relates to the road,
Yeah.
has nothing to do with this board or when a building permit is applied for, there's a change in the driveway location on a private road. As part of the building permit process, they have to do the road review with the town engineer who oversees that committee, and they will determine if this property owner will be required to make any improvements to that road, but they will make that decision. I'm sure you're free to attend the meetings. I don't believe they're public hearings, so I don't know that you can necessarily comment. I can't speak to that particular board.
Right.
But there will be a board in a meeting here at Town Hall, in a public meeting, for which they will review and consider if any changes to that road are necessary.
So Anthony, would you recommend that he call the building department?
I would recommend that he speak to engineering as
Yeah,
Candace said.
town engineer.
Town
Okay.
engineer? Okay.
That's the town
All right.
engineer.
Very
I
good.
Because this board's
appreciate it.
never gonna get involved with,
Yeah.
that
Okay.
aspect of.
Yeah.
of
Let's
the
move on.
Yeah, so I appreciate your time, guys. Thank you very
Thank you.
much. I
Okay,
appreciate it.
thank you. Is there anybody else in the audience who wishes to be heard on this application? Is there anybody on Zoom who wishes to be heard on this application? One person, okay. Hi, are you an attorney?
I am not an attorney.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name and address.
Robert Spica, S-P-I-C-A. Address is 130 Shore Road.
Okay, Mr. Speaker?
So I think you already answered the question with Kyle, but I was just voicing my concern within the same context of the back porch and with views across Rose Avenue into an outdoor shower and a bedroom. But I'm just voicing a concern, knowing that
We
when
don't
you
have
spoke to
jurisdiction.
Kyle with a plant plan, that is something that I think I'll have to take up directly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mrs. Speaker. Is there
And-
anybody, yes, go ahead.
Can you also just sort of explain, like the driveway also kind of has a little bit of impact in just it sort of like empties straight out into essentially my house that's directly across from me.
This is not.
We don't have anything to do with that.
Nothing to do with it.
That's not with us. As we just discussed, you should call the town engineer's office and discuss that with them.
Town engineers.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else on Zoom in the audience? Okay, Robert, this is yours.
Okay.
Bob, can you just read the building department comments into the record for me?
Oh, all right.
Or I can read them. It's just that the building department noted that any fences in the right-of-way and corner clearance shall be removed, made to comply, so you can't have fences in the right-of-way. That's all.
Okay.
So we're gonna move to close?
Did you get the
Yeah.
building department comments? Did you receive them?
I did not, but that was not gonna be an issue.
Okay.
Move to close the meeting, hold it open for written submissions until March 8th with a decision on March 21st.
Second.
Mr. Mastonia.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Tuthill.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you
Mrs.
very
Clark.
much. Sir.
Okay. Okay, next.
Give me 1 second.
Sure.
Get this all written down. Thank you. Okay, item 5 on the agenda is Carlos Arena and Michael Mazzano, 2569 Montauk Highway in Bridgehampton. This is held over from 1/18/24 meeting.
Re-advertised, and we need your posting. You gotta read it, Keith.
So the,
No, we have to read the,
I gotta
we
read
have we have to
it.
read the whole
I'll
thing,
take
so
it.
just give us a second to do that.
Applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the town code for a proposed addition. 330-11, Residence District's Table of Dimensional Regulations for a required total side yard setback of 30.4 feet, where 45 is required. 2, 330-84, pyramid height for a total pyramid encroachment of 1,164.13 cubic feet. Existing 1160.7 cubic feet on the east side of the property, and proposed 3.43 cubic feet on the west side of the property. 2, 330-83C yards, and 330-76D, placement of accessory buildings, structures, and uses in all districts for a proposed patio to be located within the minimum required side yard, excuse me, and for a proposed shed to be located within the minimum total required side yard, and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction.
Are you all going to be speaking?
Well, I'll start. My name is John Tarbett.
But wait a
and I-
second,
oh,
are
so
any
yeah.
of you
Wait a moment.
attorneys?
Well,
Who is you?
yeah, I was gonna try to tell you.
Okay, so you're gonna start, so just state your name and your address,
Okay,
please.
great. My name is John Tarbett of Tarbett and Lester in East Hampton.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was gonna start speaking, and I am here with the clients who are Carlos and Michael, and they may speak if you have questions for them. Or
Okay, well,
issues
do you
for
want to
them.
get sworn in now, so that you can
Yeah,
comment?
sure.
Yeah, okay. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name and address
Carlos.
separately.
Carlos Arena, 2569 Montauk Highway.
Okay,
Mike Mazzano, 2569 Montauk Highway, Bridgehampton.
okay, thank you very much. Okay.
you.
Okay, John, go ahead.
All right, thank you. So, these are actually pretty small variances. One is 18 point, well, it's to locate a two-car garage with a bedroom and two offices above it. 18.8 feet from the property line, where 20 feet is required. And on that same corner, and if you, and the reason for these two variances are, if you look at it, the road itself kind of starts to curve in this section, and the original house was aligned to be straight at the road. So then it brings everything on a kitty corner on the property. So that corner that needs the little over 1 foot variance also needs 3.43 cubic foot variance. So a very tiny variance. There's a benefit to the applicant, which is that this is this is actually just to the east of downtown Bridgehampton, and the traffic's pretty noisy and loud there. The existing house is pretty close to that street. The backyard, however, is beautiful, and it goes back. There's a common access or reserve area to the west of this property, as you'll see on the survey. So the variances that we're requesting are from that common. There's no immediate neighbor there. It's an open area, and that leads to a subdivision which is behind this house, and that subdivision has a giant, beautiful green space with a pond in it. So the backyard is nice used. The addition is going to help with noise, and all of the neighbors around here, including the HOA, have supported the application.
And they've all, nobody's objected. right?
Nobody's objected that we're
All right.
aware of, and we actually have the support of the HOA as well as the adjacent neighbors. And there is no adjacent neighbor on the side that we're requesting the variance from. It's what you consider the HOA land.
Isn't there like the museum or something there? Whatever.
Right next to that is the
Yes.
Bridgehampton Historical Society.
Right, the Historical
Yeah.
Society.
It was
So
martyrs
there's a
originally.
45-foot space next to us. That's part of the homeowners association behind us.
I see,
And then after that's the Bridgehampton Historical Society.
okay. Is that a road there, or is it just an empty?
It's a walking path for
It's
the
a
people in the
walking path.
community to go
town.
into town. Yeah.
Okay,
It's easier to go that way than having to loop around.
oh, okay, yeah, it's nice. It's
Yeah.
nice. But it's not accessed by cars?
No.
Okay. Okay, did you want to add anything to?
Yeah, it's just like, the house was built around 1900, it's historical, it's why we love it, we love being in the village. Just over the 10 years we've been there, the traffic, there's just more, like people traffic, construction, deliveries, so it just gets louder. We have our pool all the way in the back, just to stay as far away. And we'd like, so it's part of the reason why we're building on that side of the house. It also kind of just makes the most sense. And we want to keep the addition like very much in line with the original architecture of the house. Like that's super important to both of us.
It's a charming house.
Thanks. We're
Yeah,
really
it's really charming.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that the landmark people are thrilled that you're keeping a charming house.
We're hoping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything inside, we haven't touched bathrooms, we want to keep it the same way.
Yeah.
It's a very
We're
special
only the
house.
third owners it was built in 1900.
Really? That's
So
incredible.
like anything that we are gonna update, like all the same molding, even though like wide plank floors are better, we're gonna do the same narrower that have been there originally, like just everything, keeping it very much in line.
Okay, so then you're asking for relief of 3.43 cubic feet on the west side and a little bit more on the east side, 1,000.
Which is already, yeah, it's
100.
grandfathered in, because it was built so long ago, it was only built like less than 15 feet from the east side property line. And because it's a parallelogram, the property, like it's not a perfect rectangle, it shifts.
But wait a second,
It's there. It's been there for 100 years.
What, the pyramid, the pyramid encroachment has been there?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's not new really. It's just the 3.4 cubic feet on the other side of the house.
Right.
It's
we're
confusing.
asking for.
That's why.
Yeah, it
Okay,
is.
I got it, okay.
We
And-
have a few comments from Marjorie Riley. Have you gotten a chance to take a look at them?
We did.
Okay, so the first one is sheet A101 of the plan shall be revised to identify the survey used to create the site plan. Can you take care of that?
It's already done.
Already done, perfect. Second, to clarify the record, the brick with arbor behind the existing detached one-story shed was built without the benefit of a building permit, but is included on the description of several updated certificates of occupancy.
Yeah.
Matter shall be addressed with the building department. Have you addressed it yet?
I will do that, honestly.
Okay.
I don't know why I haven't. I'm like fairly type A. I've done everything that I'm supposed to, and I have not done that, but I
Anybody
will.
who says they're fairly type A is probably type A.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I'm a little pregnant.
But I will.
Okay,
Okay.
very good.
Are you, do you know if you're in the new district?
I don't know.
I just asked Candace to check it, our GIS isn't working.
Yeah, I mean, you might wanna just.
I'm gonna just go check.
We have to
You are, you
verify that.
Katie, is that something like the blue flag? That's I'm just asking.
Yes, it would be flat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's not, it's usually it's working much more.
Check.
I think you would've got a bunch of notices if they were gonna put it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been like going to town like very.
Oh, all right,
frequently.
Pam
Thank you,
Harwood
Pam.
has just said that you're not in the historic district, okay. So
But
that
it is gonna go to landmarks because the building is over 75, so it does go to landmarks.
Right.
Oh, okay, interesting, interesting,
Oh, there
okay,
you
good, good. So,
you, Pam.
it still has to go to the committee?
No, not for our purposes. The
yeah.
building permit will be required.
Right, okay, okay. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on this application? 2569 Montauk Highway?
Come on up.
Of course I do, appreciate it.
All right, wait, I have to swear you in, Pamela.
Pamela Harwood, 371 Woodland Drive, Bridgehampton. I swear to tell the truth.
Okay.
First of all, I admire you. I thank you for buying an old house, potentially landmarked house, and not bulldozing it.
Yeah, thanks.
And as has happened so often in our hamlet.
It kills us too.
And I went on Google to see what the house looked like, and it looks beautiful.
Thanks.
And it's very nice to hear some group of people who want to preserve that look. And so I just want to start out saying that I'm completely, and our whole group is completely supportive of that.
Great, thanks.
I just have a concern, and by the way, the development in back of you, Bull's Head, we have a significant number of the homeowners there who are members of the Civic. And the Bridgehampton Museum is in the district. That's where it ends. But I do want to say one thing, that one of the goals of our civic organization is to try to encourage the town boards as much as possible to adhere to the codes. The codes and all the zoning were done for a reason, whether it be setbacks, whether it be pyramid laws. They're all done for a reason, to preserve the rural character of the hamlet and of our town, and try to avoid the suburbanization. So I just noticed on this that the side yard setback you're asking for is 30 feet where 45 feet is required. That's a 30% less setback, so you'll be 30% closer to the property line or neighbors than is allowed by code.
Side yard setback.
It's the total
It's a
side yard.
total, not one side,
Not one side.
not one side. It's-
Yeah, you
So
add
what
both
does that
sides
mean?
together to
You
get
have
the
to
total.
add both sides together to get what you're saying. So say it's 45, but they've got a pre-existing of something, and then they're asking for, I think, what, 1.5, how many? It's a very small amount.
Yeah, less.
Little
Less
over
than
a foot.
They're only asking for an additional 1 foot setback.
Oh, okay,
Okay,
I
so-
misunderstood.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's, the house is built so close to the property
Yeah.
on the other side back
Yeah.
in 1900, which
Yeah,
is
so
why
that's not an issue.
it seems we're asking for something
I can't
bigger.
see how that's an issue, and so I just wanted to clarify it.
Okay.
And thanks very much on your help with that, and thank you very much for doing
Okay.
such a nice thing to the property.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anybody on Zoom who wishes to be heard on this application? Okay. All right, Michael is not here. I will take it for Michael, and I'm going to close the public hearing and keep it open for written comments until March 8th with a decision on March 21st.
Second.
All right, Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you very much,
Thanks for all your
gentlemen.
help.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Good
it.
luck.
Thank you, thank you.
Second, yeah.
Thank
I think you.
When is your birthday?
March 8th.
Oh, okay.
The decision, so.
We'll weave it in somehow.
Hello. Seems like yesterday.
Wait, we're not doing Butter Lane.
And we're not doing
we already-
Noyak.
Dream. We on to
Oh my God, we're
Dreamview.
already at Dreamview.
Uh-oh.
Look at that.
Okay, so the next item is
Yeah, I know.
Dreamview LLC, 282 Roses Grove Road, Mortimer, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-46-2-45.7.
They put me down here to help them out.
This is a hold'em.
Okay, I don't need to swear either of you in because, well, you're an attorney, but I don't need to swear you in. But just state your name, please, and your addresses again.
Kieran Pate Murphy of Council Burke and Sullivan, 41 Meeting House Lane, Southampton, New York, 11968.
Robert Miller, 7 Norton Drive, Smithtown, New York, 11787.
Okay. So last we were here, we had a couple of things you were going to clarify so that we
Yes.
would get exactly the information on what variances you were requesting, which have been confirmed by Marjorie Riley.
Yes, I have copies if you don't.
I think
Does
we do.
everybody have a copy of?
I do, but I could be, I
If
just
you would-
pulled it out of my,
This is.
Well, you should hand it
oh, it's a- well,
to
it's-
Katie.
It's already stamped.
Yeah, we
It's
already
already
have
Oh,
got
it's
it.
already
We already
stamped?
have it.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
The last time we were here, we were, the addition was being reduced. It was originally second story. I have Robert Miller here to discuss the changes, but we also wanted Marge to look at it to
Right.
clarify
right.
whether the variances were correct for that. And she did look at it, and the number one in this memo talks about the relief. Again, we had talked about the height, the 38.1, where maximum was 32 was allowed, and that was based on the previous house.
Right.
And then talking about the minimum side yard setback of 46, which if you look at the survey, it shows those 2 points, and that we needed a minimum of 50 feet. So the total required side yard of 98.7 feet, where 125 feet is required. And that's correct. We checked
Yeah.
that. Marge is correct. I assume she's correct, but we just double checked with the plans.
And that was a change from your original, right?
Yes, originally it was much.
87.
Yes, and
Okay.
also it was 2 stories, so we
Right.
reduced that. There's only a little bit area of the second story, and it's really just a bedroom
Okay.
and stairs. And then the other situation now, I was on from the last hearing, that we were supposed to submit a building permit. There's an existing tennis court that has a CO that goes back when the previous house was there. But, we're gonna submit a building permit. And then the next one was the.
An application for a building.
Yes, and
Okay.
I didn't get a chance to put it in, but that's what we're doing. And then, for the in-ground swimming pool, it's 50 feet, and it was changed in design, so it should have a building permit.
Right.
But the automatic cover is 1.5 feet. So that's where we have this 48.5 feet, which
Right.
I just wanted to clarify that we don't need a variance for that.
Oh, we don't.
Well, she's saying, Well, she's saying
No,
that
she's
we
saying you do.
Do,
You need a
we do.
variance
So
of-
now I would ask for that 1.5 feet.
Okay.
A foot and a half.
Yes,
Um,
and you can see it on this
and what about the
survey.
slab? Is that the patio?
Yes, and that is, on.
So are you applying for a permit for the slab as well?
Yes, we'll do it. I mean, it's, because she just wants a,
Yeah, those are all my notes that I have on the
yeah,
survey.
minimum
Permit,
solar.
permit.
Yeah, so that's,
Three of
that's
them.
what we're doing, so I'm gonna
Okay.
go in, I just had to get,
Good.
you know, we had to get some information about the cover, and,
Okay.
and I'm gonna probably put it in the next day or so.
Okay.
Okay,
So
great.
that's great, so, anyhow, we've talked to the neighbor's attorney, who's here, and we worked out, you know, agreements, we're gonna plant trees, and we have an agreement about that, and, you know, I don't know if, their attorney wants to speak, but we have an agreement with the neighbors, and we're gonna plant trees, so we don't.
Are we gonna make that a condition of the variance?
I don't think you need to, because we have a signed
We don't.
agreement, and it's also,
Oh, you have a sign, okay.
Yeah, we also submitted the plan showing the trees as a mitigation.
Yeah, I mean, we can always refer to a planting plan. I remember the last
I
hearing, we were
There was like a
disagreeing
revegetation
over-
plan.
Yeah,
we were
it's 4
disagreeing over
pages,
other.
and we submitted 1 page. and
We can
have the
always
trees.
refer to a
Yeah,
vegetation
okay,
plan. It was
plan.
the other thing that I wasn't gonna condition it to, the inability to ever come back.
Oh, yeah.
I
No,
was like,
but,
no,
we
so we
have
can,
that.
we can
We have
condition
a
it based on the plan.
Sure.
We often do
revegetation
that.
plan
We
with you.
often do that. We
Absolutely.
make the
Planning.
vegetation
Yes.
plan part of the variance
It would be
approval.
just the trees, because we have to go, we have an application with the planning board.
For the revegetation.
For the rest of the property,
Okay.
but that was specifically for that, and we did submit that page, and it does show the tree locations, and we can make that
It's part of the
exhibit,
variance.
part of the
Okay.
variance, along with the pool cover.
Right.
And I guess if Mika wants to say anything, but we work back and forth, and.
Okay.
and we
Do
have
you want to
agreement.
make a comment? Just please state your name and address, please.
Good evening, Nika Strunk, 37 Windmill Lane, Southampton, New York. I represent George Lamesh and Brad and Nikki Silver, who both adjoin the applicant's property. As I think I mentioned the last time, we are very pleased with the reduction in relief that the applicant is requesting, and we have reached an agreement with the applicant and do support their application in full. The screening trees, I think it would be good if the screening trees were made a condition of whatever relief may be granted by the board.
That's fine.
Yeah.
We often do that.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
So,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So, is there any other comments from the board? It looks like we've got some clarification on what we asked for.
Yes.
Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on this application of 282 Rose Grove Road? Is there anybody on Zoom who wishes to be heard on 282 Roses Grove Road? Okay, this is Michael's, but I'm gonna take it. So, we're gonna close the public hearing on this.
Okay.
And we're going to hold it open for written comments until March 8th, is it? March 8th,
Okay.
March 8th, and a decision on March 21st.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Mastonio. Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Aye. Chair votes aye. Okay,
Okay,
thank
well,
you.
Thank you, it worked out.
Thank you
Worked out.
so
We got a
much.
much better plan, thank you.
Glad we got through it, right?
Thank you.
So-
Thank you, Nika. All right.
Okay, item 11 and 12, right, John? We'll put these together? Yeah.
You did the last time.
Yeah, I thought so. It's been so long, can't remember that far back. How about you?
He gets 3 minutes.
Okay, items 11 and 12,
No, he gets
which is
2.5.
SGM Excavating LLC and Max Masonry Supply Yard LLC.
Should I proceed?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So it's been a while. Let me just say that I think.
I'm gonna
I
give a
think-
little bit of an overview.
Okay, two of our board members here, I don't think were here.
I wasn't.
When this originally was.
I'll give a
Were you
little-
here, Bob?
I'll give an overview.
I've been here the whole time.
I'll try to move fast, but I'll give an overview. Is that okay?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
please do, because
okay.
I took notes to give myself an overview before our meeting, so let me see if it
No, I've
jives
been
with
here
this. Now, before we start,
This is
we-
Mr. Mezineski. He's the
all right, and we swore you in before, didn't we?
We have, but I
Yeah,
can do it again.
100
Steve Mezineski, I swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing
Okay,
but the truth.
okay, good, all right, thank you, Steve. Okay, go ahead, John.
So my name is John Bennett. I represent Steve and his entities. There are two separate applications, and thanks for merging them, Keith. Both of these properties, shown on the map, you can see that there's this triangular or trapezoidal actually piece that's separate from the improved piece. But both of these pieces are utilized for a pre-existing masonry and excavating business. And the proof goes way back. As a matter of fact, we had Jim Darby, amongst others, submit affidavits, which the building inspector accepted, stating that this use has been there. I mean, Jim Darby's, I mean, I knew Jim, I mean, think Jim Darby's, like, he's in his 70s. I just happened to have grown up down the road. His dad and he were in the masonry business. His dad was a contemporary of my dad in the contracting business. He'd be in 110. So the whole thing went back very, very far. But not surprisingly, no one ever got a CO for this separate vacant piece. So the board understandably said, go to the building inspector first, because try to work that out with the building inspector. And the building inspector, we submitted all the proof, aerial photographs, affidavits, and so the building department did issue a pre-existing CO just recently. Hopefully you have copies of that. I'll have copies to everybody.
I don't have a CO, I have
Okay. Because the improved piece has a CO back to 85. Somebody finally got a pre-existing CO, and I think Marjorie Grief, or maybe the predecessor, owned it. So, but now we have the pre-existing non-conforming CO for the vacant piece, because it's all been used as a unitary business. So that's brand new. That's dated January 29, 2024. Oh, gee, I'm sorry. I guess you're entitled to one. Sorry, Steve. So what happened? So now we're clear that the use is a pre-existing non-conforming masonry and excavation use on both businesses, both properties. I'm sorry. So the first application before the board is the appeal of the notice of violation issued for the continued use of and storage and delivery and sale of mulch, chips, and hogged logs. I think hogged logs.
Well, I looked it up, actually.
Okay, I was gonna. It's because it sounds like something. If I may, that if you're
not-
down
that's
south, you
not-
might get drunk on whiskey.
No, all right, so I actually looked up hog logs.
I remember this
It's
now.
100% natural hardwood, lump charcoal logs. They burn clean, and there's a hole in the center that allows maximum airflow to burn hotter with no dust.
Thank you.
Go Wikipedia.
All right, but what does that have to do with excavating?
Well, let me explain that to you, because I'm glad you asked, because we put this case in before, and then you said, oh, so much okay for the improved parcel, go back and get the CO, and that's where we are. Since 2015, from 2021, we submitted with copies of all prior permits issued by the fire marshal permitting the storage of mulch, chipped, and hog logs. There was a gap where the fire marshal didn't issue it because I think he was waiting to see what happened here, but he issued one in 2023.
I don't know how he issued it on the basis of what? Do you actually have hog logs on the property?
No, we do not. What the problem is that your town code or the fire marshal's code,
Yeah.
that is the way they determine.
That's how they.
It's really mulch and
and
chips.
wood products.
Yeah.
It's just, that is the explanation why they should probably update that, but.
Yeah, I mean, it's like,
I mean, it's.
you're not in the
that's just
business of
resolution.
selling hog logs
No,
to
no
barbecues
way
down
whatsoever.
south so that they have a good barbecue
But-
taste on their meat.
No, but
Okay.
the requirement of your fire marshal's office is
Okay.
to have this permit
Okay,
for, if a
All
piece
that.
of wood is put on the ground there, you need to have this permit to be in compliance,
I see.
along with the New York State DEC permits, which we have all of this.
okay.
So we submitted a copy of the New York State standards and specifications for erosion and sediment control, which is part of the excavation business. And they require the use of mulch for stabilization and to prevent runoff. Because Steve uses it not only in his own excavating business when they do stormwater management plans, but also sells it wholesale, the mulch and chips. And then the Southampton Town Stormwater Management and Erosion Sediment Control, when all soil disturbance activities have ceased and a uniform perennial vegetative cover with a density of 80% over the entire pervious surface has been established, or other equivalent stabilization measures such as permanent landscape mulches. We also talked about the affidavit of Jim Darby, who states that storage and sale of sand, gravel, mulch, wood chips to individuals in the trade are consistent with the business practices carried on by my business, excavation and masonry business on this property, dating back to 40 years ago, and that mulch is an integral part of the excavation process. So we're here to ask you to tell the town, consistent with what's gone on there all the time, that this is not a change of use. Because there was a violation issued for a change of use, and we haven't changed the use. It's always been a masonry and excavation business. And the
pre-existing CO.
Yeah, and we have the pre-existing CO now. So I'm hoping this isn't cause any concerns. I do want you to know there's some things that, we don't mind sand there. There's no sand mining that goes on there.
Right.
Because I know that's,
Don't go
thank
there.
gosh we're not going there.
We're not
We
going
don't
there.
mine any sand there. And then you couldn't help but seeing in the Southampton Press today I call it the old dump, because that's when I was a kid riding around my dad.
No,
that's,
we know,
that's what
we
the
know
dump was
that,
on the
we
left
know
side.
that,
It's
it's, yeah.
totally distinguishable case.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know.
there's and I'm glad you agree with that. So I don't want to be presumptuous, but if we should I move on to the next part of it, was a little variance for the trailer, because I think we've demonstrated that mulch and chips are part of this excavation business, and therefore I would.
Does the board have any questions on that? Okay.
I mean, I went
So-
through it quickly.
Okay,
but
I think we're all there.
Okay.
But we will, of course, ask if there's anyone in the audience
Of
or on
course.
Zoom after you've done with your
Okay.
presentation, so.
And then the other thing is, on the improved parcel, which has the pre-existing CO, there are two small buildings here, one of which, I guess let me get my bearings, the southerly one we'd like to keep. It's a trailer. It's a 400 square foot trailer. It's 22.9 feet from the road. There's a one-story building on the property that has the CO for it. That's about 6 feet. Well, I think Billy wrote it
It's
down.
6 feet from the property
6 feet from the property line. We could add on the 400 square feet here, but at a not preferable setback. We'd prefer to keep this trailer, just this southerly one. It's about 400 square feet. It's for storage of items. It's some
Is it
office
movable
stuff
or is it
basically.
on a foundation?
It's movable.
It's movable.
And it's been there for over 40 years.
Yeah, that was my next question.
Yes.
When did it?
Prior to me.
And it also serves as the trucks pull in, that's
Yes,
where
it's our
everybody
office.
goes right there, it's an
Yes.
office.
Otherwise, people would be standing in the yard with a clipboard in the wintertime.
Right,
So
it's right
it's a
by
necessity
where
to the
everybody
business.
comes
So
through.
retail yard also, or just for your own?
Well, it's for
It's just for
this-
commercial excavation
Yeah.
and mason contract.
But we sell to the trade.
That's what I was like, yeah,
Yes,
sell
yes.
retail.
And is the driveway still asphalt?
Yes, it is. To protect, and that's swept daily to keep any materials from going out into the street.
If you look there, it's a pretty organized shop down there, and it's well screened. It's pretty small.
Yeah. What is it screened with?
I mean, we could put some more screening up there, but it's
Actually,
pretty well
yes,
screened.
There's green giants, the natural vegetation, the vines, we've screened it. You can't, in the summertime,
Can you
don't
see
even
the
know it's there.
straight from the?
No, and we have
trailer?
cedar opaque gates that are closed at nighttime, so you cannot see in when you drive by. And that is the only place you can see in during the daytime is that 20-foot wide driveway.
Okay.
So it is heavily screened. It's not visible.
And there is a berm, pre-existing berm that was put there about 35, 40 years ago.
I've been to the site, I
that,
know.
blocks the road,
Yeah, I've been
so,
there. But I do have a question about these gravel storage areas, which I'm sure gonna be raising. Are they just to the guess, what is it, the right of the driveway. I thought that there was some also to the other side.
They're right here, and there's a couple in this
Yeah,
survey.
that does
There's a
not
couple
show
in
on the
back.
survey.
The ones in the back, this is an earlier survey, I probably have a copy of it.
We have the,
I
let
think we
me,
need to get the latest.
Yeah, we have
survey.
the,
oh, we
you
have,
should
you know what it is, it's a young and young survey that shows
And
all
just so
the-
you guys know, that is a requirement of the New York State DEC. You have to have, and they're temporary blocks that you have to have
Separate.
each
Yeah, I
one
understand.
separately marked.
But I was
and
just saying that
labeled
I
to
remember
show
there
it.
being ones over on
There
this
is, there's
side
three
as well.
behind there.
So why don't we have the surveyor go out there and locate those?
No, I
Yeah.
have 'em. I have a survey with it on.
Oh,
you want
step
me to
ahead of
know,
me.
All right, but we need copies for our record.
It's the young and young survey,
Yeah.
Steve? Okay.
And you have a copy of it.
Yeah, that's the trailer.
Okay, but you know what I'm saying, this survey does not show them, and I just.
No, and I appreciate you bringing that to me, because that's important.
I know it's in your files.
Yeah, I'll get the young and young survey. Sorry about that. I'm sorry, I had it out.
That's okay. That's okay. If you need to, you can always submit them.
I'm sorry, this one is not very.
All right, I see something here, I don't know if this is.
There it is.
Yeah, all right, that's what I was talking about. These are not shown on the survey that we've been looking at.
And those actually are not, any structures, that is just where
They
the
don't have the-
designated piles for
It
them.
just makes the piles, yeah.
Yeah, here you go, here it is, they're right,
Oh, there, but are they over there as well?
yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Those
concrete dividers up there.
They don't have dividers.
No
They're
dividers?
just mounds.
Yeah, here's the actual survey you're looking for.
And we did mark it by saying to be removed, I mean, not,
Right,
you know,
so the
you're not
real
running.
trailer is going to be removed.
Yes.
Yes,
You've got the mounds noted.
that is a more complete survey.
Yeah,
we-
I think if you could submit that, it would be very.
Okay, that's what we'll do. I think the reason we put the SPARS, or maybe the Brusky survey in is because
Is it the bars?
it wasn't dimensioned, the setbacks off the road weren't dimensioned. So what we'll do is we'll get Howie's survey and put that in.
Okay.
So how many trailers are being legalized? How
Just the
many-
one.
Just one trailer?
We'll remove
One
And
is
how
gonna-
many
the back
more?
one's gonna be removed.
Yeah. And this concrete block building is there, that has a
Right,
CO
right.
for it, yeah. So I'll get some more copies of this.
You want me to get
Oh,
You want me to put it in?
oh, wow, that'd be huge. That'd be great. So I guess,
How many copies do you need? 6, 8?
no, 10.
Just 10?
10, yeah.
Okay.
Just to
I'll
be
do
on the
dozen.
safe side. We need some on the
Two for
file.
me.
Yeah.
But how many did you say the bulk gravel storage areas were there? Or that's what you're gonna,
Well, you see it on the
Confirm.
survey.
There's a bunch.
Four?
Yeah, there's a lot.
They're, and they're also,
It's the use, honestly, the use takes over the whole property.
yeah, I mean, there's some in the back, there's some on the side. The ones
And
I
the
was
only-
most concerned with were close to the road.
And the reason we have those, it's a requirement of the New York State DEC, your piles have to be.
but I'm saying, are we
delineated.
supposed to legalize, is the board
Oh, yeah.
supposed to legalize each tile?
I don't know if you have to, because
Whatever
it's all
it's called, each
temporary.
reverse
There was
area.
some
Yeah.
setback issue,
Yeah.
wasn't there?
The only setback issue that I saw was for the structures, but if the board feels that it's necessary to do that, I think that would come
I
under the
mean, they go right
ambit
up
of-
to your property.
Well, they wrote, it says,
No,
an
they're-
Any other
access,
relief.
well, it says an accessory front yard
Yep.
setbacks of plus or minus 10 for each of the bulk
Yeah.
gravel
Okay.
storage
Yeah,
areas.
yeah.
All right,
I just
okay.
wondered, you know.
Right, that's it.
So that's,
Those are
it's better to
movable
have them on
structures
there.
that get moved.
Well, we don't have anything on the survey.
We're gonna put it on the Young and Young survey. You don't have it on the Borowski
No,
survey.
this
Right.
old survey doesn't
It
have
just
it.
doesn't do it. Okay, we'll get you this
Yeah.
new survey.
How far do you think they are from the
Right.
property
Well, I'll have
line?
him dimension it. I'll have him dimension it. Can you have Howie, do you wanna, you and I'll talk to Howie.
You don't
about
know
it.
off the top of your head.
But I'd like to give this copy to
Close.
council though. Is that okay?
That's
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And thank you for pointing that out, Susan. That will remove any ambiguity.
Okay, so let's see what else that you,
So that's it, the trailer, the variance
Well,
request for the trailer. And
I saw notes from the Conservation Board. They say that the survey shows that there are storage bins that encroach onto the town-owned property. They don't. All right, so when you submit the survey.
Where are they seeing that?
Right here.
They're looking on Google Earth, that's,
No, right on this survey.
Where?
What is this? What is this? I don't know what it is.
No, that was when I purchased the property, that was a 40-foot Castone storage container that was removed when I purchased the
Okay.
property.
But that needs to be
Yeah, I don't know.
mentioned and
I'm sorry, I
clarified.
shouldn't
In the
do that.
decision.
Right, okay,
make sure
because-
that there's a thing, yeah.
What is the date on that survey?
It's, yeah, it's been.
2017.
Exactly, yeah.
Right, but that's why we need a new
Updated survey. That was
survey.
from the prior rule.
But as long as you stipulate that there is no encroachment on the town property.
Well, if it's there.
It's not there.
It's not, okay. all right.
Okay, and you regraded the proper land and everything else?
And it's been revegetated.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
So,
I have the lead on this. I don't have any problem with this.
okay,
Thank you, Keith.
thank you. I
No,
mean,
I have no problem, but I
keep it
just think.
moving.
gotta get it right, thank you.
We
No, no,
gotta
no,
get
no,
it right,
no, no, no,
because I don't
no.
want you coming back.
I'm extremely thankful.
I don't want you coming back on this.
Susan, I'm extremely thankful.
Yes, thank you. I'm glad you are.
Well,
Hog
of course
logs,
I am.
hog logs, and
All
all.
right, is there anybody else here?
I just, one other
wants
thing
to
I wanted to ask about, that there was a lot of correspondence from the Suffolk County Water Authority in here. Are those issues you're addressing those issues? I assume?
100%. We actually have a groundwater monitoring
I saw it.
system that
I
I
saw
put in,
it.
and I actually gave to the town attorneys. It was about 15 of these binders.
Yeah, okay.
And every few months, we monitor the groundwater to make sure that there's no issues.
Okay.
We've actually also installed, not required, but under my own guidance, a engineered filtration system.
I saw them.
That any groundwater any runoff water that comes off of that property goes through a filtration system, and Eastern Environmental comes every 4 months and pumps it and tests it to make sure that we're doing the proper thing for the groundwater and,
Excellent.
making sure we're doing the right thing.
I'm
for the
glad you
community.
went on record as saying all of that, because, you don't want that stuff floating out there that
And we
you're not
have
taking care of
provided
business.
that information to the town attorney, and they've reviewed it, and
Okay. All right, is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on this application? Is there anyone on Zoom who wishes to be heard on this application? Okay.
Thanks for your
so-
patience in us getting that CO. It was a.
that was painful.
And I'm assuming that we're going to, so what do we do about the violation order?
Well,
mean-
with your order, it would go away.
The
because-
violation goes away
yeah.
after, if we,
yeah.
Oh,
It's
well,
a
let me-
notice
excuse-
of
What happened,
violation.
what happened was the violation was issued, and they didn't go to court. The town didn't go to court because they
you deferred it,
can't.
yes.
Because under 267A,
You were
while there's a
coming here.
pending application, the town can't enforce anything unless there's a health and
okay,
safety
so is there
issue.
anything that we have to take, action that we have to take on that?
Just the decision.
The decision should be enough for that.
Okay,
to all
okay,
go.
it'll drop
Okay.
out.
So then I-
Seeing and hearing no one, motion to close with a determination on 321 written submissions, 3/8.
Second.
Mr. Tudhill,
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. All right, chair votes aye.
Thank
So
you
we
very
look
much.
forward to the written submissions before we give the
We
decision.
need the survey.
I'll get that.
Okay, from Howie, and we'll, I'll
Thank
get,
you, guys.
you know,
I
if
really
you
appreciate
would.
it.
You gonna take care of the survey, John?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, this has been a long time. Okay. Okay. Yes, I know.
almost there. Okay, written
In my new
decisions.
office, too. Thank you guys for your help on that.
Okay, we have, I guess we're up to decisions.
Oh, do we ask the public?
Oh, sorry, I did ask for the public, and I asked for Zoom.
Yes, you did.
And I
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
I usually don't, so thank you for reminding me again. Okay, we're up to decisions, and I'm going to start with an amended decision in the matter of
13.
Oh, I'm sorry. Keith, you have to read the amended, corrected decision.
How are you talking about?
The 13, number 13. He has to read this? 'Cause
I don't have a 13 on my agenda.
Correct the decision.
Here, just read it from mine. See it there?
All right, corrected decision, number 13. 51 LNP LLC, 51 Little Noyak Path in Watermill, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-66-1-6.5. On January 18, 2024, by decision number D02400005, this board granted the following relief for proposed two-lot subdivision. Lot width for proposed Lot 1 and road frontage for proposed Lot 2. This decision is being amended to correct the Scrivener's errors, to wit, refer to the correct variances in the last paragraph of the decision.
Okay. I have a decision in this matter. On January 18, 2024, this board, by decision number D024005, granted variances for a proposed two-lot subdivision. While this decision identified the variances requested in the first paragraph of findings and determinations, it did not refer to the correct variances in the last paragraph, which granted the relief. Therefore, the last paragraph of decision D024005 is hereby amended as follows. Therefore, this board grants relief from Town Code Section 330-6 General Regulations as it relates to Town Code Section 330-11 Resident Districts Table of Dimensional Regulations for a proposed two-lot subdivision. For proposed Lot 1, an area of 48,412 square feet, where 80,000 square feet is required. For proposed Lot 2, a lot area of 48,947 square feet, where 80,000 square feet is required. These variances are granted for lot area only, as shown on the preliminary development map prepared by Robert Smith, L.S. of Squires, Holden, Weissenbacher, and Smith, last revised January 3rd, 2024. Grant of the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises. All other provisions and conditions of decision number D024005 remain in full force and effect.
Second.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Aye. Chair votes aye.
Susan, can you skip to 2266? That's what Brian's waiting on.
Thank you so much.
Okay, this is a long one, so.
Sit down.
Just as long as you show me the picture, and if it matches what I've got, then we're good.
There's no picture.
What is that?
There's no
Oh.
picture.
No,
Yeah.
just the revised planting plan. That's what I
Yep.
mean.
Yeah, okay. Let me read it and then listen carefully. 2266 Montauk LLC, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-69-2-17.7. This application is for property located at 2252 Montauk Highway, Bridgehampton. Applicant seeks variances to redevelop the premises to construct two one-story buildings and a two-story dwelling. This application was an unlisted action pursuant to SECRA, and this board conducted a coordinated review. After revising the parking layout and increasing the transition yard, the planning board, as lead agency, adopted a negative declaration. As modified, this application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from the following provisions of the Town Code for two proposed one-story buildings connected by a pergola. 1, for a proposed building, A, Town Code Section 330-34, Business District, Table of Dimensional Regulations, small I, for a principal front yard setback of 26 feet from the westerly property line, Butter Lane, where 30 feet is required, and a principal front yard setback of 27 feet from the southerly property line, Montauk Highway, where 30 feet is required. 2, for proposed building B, Town Code Section 330-34, for a principal front yard setback of 27 feet from the southerly property line, Montauk Highway, where 30 feet is required, and a principal minimum side yard setback of 12 feet where 15 feet is required. 3, for a proposed two-story dwelling, Town Code Section 330-34, for a principal front yard setback of 26 feet from the westerly property line, Butter Lane, where 30 feet is required. 4, Town Code Section 330-34, for a proposed total lot coverage of 20.67%, where a maximum of 20% is permitted. And 5, Town Code Section 330-83G1A, yards, to allow the parking area to be located within the transitional rear yard at a setback of 31.6 feet, where a minimum of 50 feet is required. These variances are granted as shown on the site plan prepared by architect Sean Leonard, last dated January 16, 2024. The office plans for buildings A and B prepared by architect Sean Leonard, last dated June 1st, 2023, and the residence floor plans prepared by architect Sean Leonard, last dated June 16, 2023. The granting of these variances is conditioned upon the installation of planting screening as shown on the landscape plan prepared by landscape designer Derek C., last revised January 18, 2024, as well as any additional screening imposed by the planning board and the continued maintenance of said screening by applicant and all subsequent owners of the premises. Grant of the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired and may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of subject premises.
Second.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
No.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for helping the neighbors work together on it.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
I'm glad it worked out.
Have a good night.
You too. Yeah, I'm gonna talk to you outside.
We've lost our audience. Okay, here we go. I'm reading all the rest of them?
Yep.
All right, so remember we had talked.
Yeah, but otherwise you're gonna have to pass the script along, I mean.
No, I'm not talking about that. All right. I have a decision in the matter of CLXXX11, LLC, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-134-1-48.5. This application is for property located at 182 Jobs Lane, Bridgehampton. Applicant seeks a side yard setback variance for a proposed tennis court on a lot that has a narrow, non-conforming lot width. This application passes the standard set forth in New York State Town Law and Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from Town Code Section 330-11, Resident Districts Table of Dimensional Regulations, for an accessory side yard setback of 8.4 feet, where 30 feet is required, for a proposed 55 by 110-foot tennis court, as shown on the survey prepared by Gary Benz, LS, last revised February 1, 2024. The grant of the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of subject premises, including, 1, the installation and maintenance of screening as shown on the East End land planting plan for ZBA dated January 5th, 2024, by the applicant and all successors in interest to the premises, and 2, the removal of the cottage from the premises prior to the issuance of any certificate for the tennis court. Is there a second?
Oh, second.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye.
Susan, if you want me to read some, I will.
Yeah.
Okay.
It sounds
That's
like
what she
the-
was talking about, we were gonna start.
No, I
Yeah, I know.
understand, but if you want me to jump in, I can.
Okay,
Just
thank
letting
you.
you know.
I'm going to let you read the next one.
Okay, good.
Which one we?
Actually, the next two.
Okay.
All right, you stop at Thompson, okay? And then
Okay.
I'm going to let Bob read Thompson and Thorpe. Okay,
So where's John reading?
he's starting here.
Okay, decision of Glenn J. Bassett, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-354-2-7. This application is for property located at 46 North Quarter Road, West Hampton. Applicant seeks variances to legalize the location of a detached garage that was constructed pursuant to a building permit, but was then moved to a non-conforming setback due to an existing cable line. While this board does not condone construction done without permits, under these circumstances, the application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and the Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from the following provisions of the Town Code to legalize a detached garage located within the required front yard of the principal building. 1, Section 330-11, Residence Districts Table of Dimensional Regulations, for an accessory distance from street front yard setback of 62.9 feet where 70 feet is required. And 2, Section 330-76D, Placement of Accessory Building Structures and Uses in All Districts, and Section 330-83C, Yards, as shown on the survey prepared by Vincent Teutonico, LS, dated December 16, 2022, and the floor plans and elevations prepared by Sodano Architecture, PLLC, last dated April 21, 2021. The grant of the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises.
Second.
Oh, I take the votes too?
You take the votes.
Okay. Mr. Macedonio.
Aye.
Ms. Keen.
Kern. Aye.
Sorry. Mr. Tuttle.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. And
you vote aye.
I vote aye.
Okay, one more.
You want me to do Cassidy?
Yes.
Okay, let me just, that was Bassett. Okay, Sean Daniel Cassidy and Jerry Logue Johnson et al., Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-15-2-55. This application is for property located at 41 Wickatuck Drive, Noyak. Applicants seek variances for a proposed second-story addition, parking, and for a pyramid encroachment to legalize decking railings on an existing garage. While this board does not condone construction done without permits for the garage decking, and after reviewing the proposed alternatives, this board finds that the benefit of the applicants in addressing their concerns for safety, together with the slope of the property and the configuration of the garage, outweighs any possible detriment to the neighborhood. As such, this board finds that the applicant passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and the Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from the following provisions of the Town Code. 1. For a proposed second-story addition to an existing dwelling on a non-conforming lot, Town Code Section 330-84D, pyramid height, for a total pyramid encroachment in the amount of 1,828 cubic feet, 1,677 cubic feet proposed, plus 105 cubic feet existing on the east side and 46 cubic feet on west side. 2. For a deck over an existing detached garage, Town Code Section 330-84D, for a total pyramid encroachment in the amount of 1,530 cubic feet, existing encroachment of 650 cubic feet, and Town Code Section 330-83A4 yards to allow a deck higher than 1 foot above ground level to be located in the required front yard. And 3. Town Code Section 330-94, Schedule of Off-Street Parking Space Requirements for Residential Uses, for 1 parking space where a minimum of 3 spaces is required. These variances are granted as shown on the survey prepared by Gary J. Benz, L.S., last revised June 28, 2023, and the residence elevations prepared by MSA Architect PC, A1, last dated November 27, 2023, and floor plans A2 and A3, last dated October 20, 2023, and the garage elevations G1, last dated November 27, 2023. The grant of the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises.
Second.
Mr. Tuttle.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio.
Aye.
Ms. Kern.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. No. And I vote aye.
Okay. All right, now we're going to do Thompson and,
Okay, this decision is for Eric and Cornelia Thompson, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-232-3-21. This application is for property located at 13 Aqua Drive, Shinnecock Hills. Applicant seeks a variance for a pyramid encroachment for a proposed new dwelling on a lot with sloping topography. This application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from the Town Code Section 330-84D, pyramid height, for pyramid encroachment in the amount of 1,470 feet, cubic feet, 735 cubic feet on the east side, 735 cubic feet on the west side, for a proposed one-family, two-story dwelling as shown on the survey prepared by John F. Baralinsky, dated November 13, 2023, and the plans and elevations prepared by Margaret Sabaninsky, architect, dated November 22nd, 2023. The grant of the foregoing relief is subject to and other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire final approval of the subject premises, including compliance with the Cultural Resources Protection Overlay regulations prior to the issuance of a building permit.
Second.
go ahead, Mr. Leonard.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Ms. Kern?
Aye.
Mr. Tuttle?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess?
And you say you vote.
And I vote aye.
Yeah.
Chair votes aye. Whatever, not the chair, but the
Whatever.
the reader
The
votes
reader.
aye. The reader votes aye. Then Thorpe, right?
Yes.
Okay.
This application is for Daniel Thorpe, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-24-3-16.7. This application for property located at 1103 Brick Kill Road, Noyak. Applicant requests variance to add a bedroom to a first floor of an existing accessory apartment. After discussions with the board, as modified, this application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief in the following Town Code, Section 330-11-2.2G, special standards to allow a size of an accessory apartment to be 44% of the total floor area of the main dwelling, where a maximum 35% is permitted, as shown in the survey prepared by Barlinski Land Surveying, last revised January 15th, 2024, and the plans and elevations submitted by Southampton Engineering Services PC dated January 15th, 2024. Grant the following relief subject to such conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises.
Second.
Mr. Tuttle.
Aye.
Ms. Kern.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
No.
Ms. Burgess.
I'm
Yes.
sorry, what was that?
And I vote aye.
Okay. Okay, I think we have two more.
Two more.
Hold on. Keith, would you like to do the honors of one of them? Here, have it, and then I'll take the last one.
I was a no.
This one here?
Yeah, that one there.
I was gonna make a speech, but then I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
no.
We got no one here.
Yeah.
Decision in the matter of Henry Taboda, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-354-4-95.2. This application is for property located at 33A Seabreeze Avenue in West Hampton. Applicant seeks variances to legalize decking and a conversion of part of the dwelling into an accessory apartment. While this board does not condone construction done without the benefit of a permit, it does find this application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and the Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief for the following provisions of the Town Code: to legalize the existing deck constructed on the south side of the dwelling without the benefit of a building permit on a non-conforming lot. Town Code 330-11, Residence District Table of Dimensional Regulations, for an accessory side yard setback of 5 feet 4 inches, where 10 feet is required. And 2, Town Code 330-76D, placement of accessory building structures and uses in all districts. And Town Code 330-83C, yards, to allow the deck to remain within the required minimum and total side yard for the principal building. And 2, to legalize an accessory apartment constructed within the dwelling without the benefit of a building permit. Town Code 330-11-2F, special standards for the following: a total lot area of 20,005.65 square feet, where a minimum of 32,000 square feet is required, for a lot width of 98.24 feet, where a minimum of 105 feet is required, 70% of the required 150 feet. And 3, for the existing deck, an accessory side yard setback of 5 feet 4 inches, where 14 feet is required, 70% of the required 20 feet. As shown on the survey prepared by Island-wide Land Surveyors, last updated January 12, 2024, and the plans and elevations prepared by Zachary T. Clanahan, architect, issued July 15, 2022. The grant of the foregoing relief is conditioned upon such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired and may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises, including the removal or relocation to a conforming location of the existing shed prior to the issuance of any certificates of compliance or occupancy.
Second.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess?
Aye.
Aye.
And chair votes aye. Okay.
Susan, before you read daily, can you just do a vote to, reopen for written subs? I didn't do that in the beginning.
Oh, Daley, okay. We need to have we need to reopen the application of Virginia and James Daly.
Do we need to take a vote on it?
Yes.
Second. Oh.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And you gotta close for a decision.
And now can I have a motion to?
Close for decision, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, how's that? Virginia Daly and James Daly, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-189-1-31. This application is for property located at 8 Pine Tree Place, Hampton Bays. Applicants seek variances in connection with the construction of a one-story house on a non-conforming lot. After several revisions to reduce the proposed pyramid encroachment, applicants changed their plans from constructing a two-story house to a one-story house, drastically reducing the proposed encroachment and eliminating the need for setback variances. As modified, the application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and the Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from the following provisions of the Town Code for a proposed one-story house on a non-conforming lot. 1, Town Code Section 330-84D for a pyramid encroachment in the amount of 735 cubic feet, 620 cubic feet on the west, and 115 cubic feet on the east side. And 2, Town Code Section 330-11, Resident Districts Table of Dimensional Regulations, for a total lot coverage of 21.1%, where a maximum of 20% is permitted, as shown on the survey prepared by Floyd Carrington of Raynor, Marks, and Carrington, last dated January 22nd, 2024, and the revised pages A2 through A4, floor plans and elevations prepared by Sando Architects, PLLC, last dated January 24th, 2024. The grant of the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval on the subject premises.
Second.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye. Can
Motion
I
to
have-
close.
Wait,
Second.
wait,
Third.
I want a motion to close and to go into executive session.
Second.
Okay,
Motion to close and go into executive session.
okay. Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Aye. Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Executive session.